The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. The city of St. Louis, known as the Gateway to the West, home of riverboats, baseball, and the blues. But tonight it's home to the NASCAR Busch Series.
I think I'll drop down in St. Louis just to see an old friend of mine.
Still down there. Keep digging. You got him. Get on the back here. Up high. Caller 4 never works. Green, green, green.
I'm heading for St. Louis. People, I believe I'll settle down.
Gateway International Raceway outside of St. Louis, where in just about 3 hours' time, one driver will be smiling and a whole lot of guys will be singing the blues here on TNN Motorsports.
Carquest, we'll make our way down to this end as we introduce the band, the St. Louis Cardinal Man Stand the Man Musial, for those famous words in racing.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Hey.
There you go, a man who's always had his engine running for St. Louis.
A brand new Musco lighting system has again brought NASCAR racing to prime time. TNN Motorsports is live at Gateway International Raceway just outside of St. Louis. It is the Carquest Auto Parts 250 coming up in just a couple of moments. Hi, everybody. I'm Eli Gold. Good evening and welcome to Madison, Illinois. But as you can see with the skyline of St. Louis behind me, we're just 5 miles from the famed Gateway Arch. It has been beastly hot here the last few days. As a matter of fact, yesterday, heat indexes in the vicinity of 115 degrees. Today, only 105 degrees, downright comfortable. But when you talk about heat, you're talking about the NASCAR Busch Series regardless of where they run. A weekend ago, Pikes Peak International Raceway outside of Colorado Springs. Heat, not in the air, but on the racetrack. Todd Bodine tangling with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr. finished 36th. Matt Kenseth finished 7th. And that allowed the point change that you see atop the standings. Kenseth right now showing the lead by 24 over Dale Earnhardt Jr. And it's interesting to note that today in qualifying and likewise yesterday, Glenn Jarrett, some of the biggest names in the sport, including Kenseth and Earnhardt Jr., not earning the best seats in the house.
You're exactly right, Eli. They don't. In fact, Kenseth and Earnhardt are 1-2 in the points, but they are 21st and 18th in the field, respectively there. So they're going to have to do some digging if they're going to come up through the field and contest this young man for the win. Casey Atwood, the 18-year-old Nashville, Tennessee native, won his second Bud Pole of the Year, 4th of his career here. And remember, just a couple of weeks ago on July the 4th, when Casey Atwood started on the pole, he picked up his first ever series win. And guess what? It was in this very race car that he's in here tonight. He says it loves the flat tracks. But they can test him for the win. If they're going to go for the guy in the points, they got to watch out for that number 32, just pulling away Jeff Green. He's 3rd in the points and closing fast.
12 different winners in 20 NASCAR Busch Series races already this year, including Andy Santerre a weekend ago at Pikes Peak, picking up his very first career victory. It was a milestone for him. He'd like to make it another win here on the flat track outside of St. Louis. Buddy Baker is alongside as per usual. And Buddy, you saw me Thursday. I took my rental car around this racetrack, making a few laps. It kind of reminded me of Darlington.
It is a lot like Darlington. Very fast straightaways, but the corners don't have as much banking. Only 11 degrees in turns 1 and 2. Up in the north end of the speedway, 3 and 4, only 9 degrees. Very difficult to get around this racetrack. A lot of braking here.
Now, folks, it is still in the 90-degree range here at 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. They have been watering this racetrack all weekend, literally bringing out a truck with water to try and cool down the asphalt. Larry McReynolds, for you as a crew chief, these conditions have to be simply abominable to have to try and deal with.
Oh, it really is, Eli. And you talk about air temperature, but what's important to these race cars is where the rubber meets the road, the track temperature. For 2 days, they've been practicing in the sunlight. Track temperatures as high as 150 degrees. It's 8 o'clock at night here in St. Louis. We're getting ready to start this race. Look here, track temperature down below 100, 97 degrees. No Busch race has ever been run under the lights here in the darkness in cooler temperatures, and it's going to get cooler as the night goes on, maybe even 20 or 25 degrees. The question is, what will the cars do? We know they're going to run faster, but they're going to get more grip, and they may even get tighter. But the question and the quest is going to be the teams that can make those adjustments, especially near the end of the race. They'll be the one to go to victory lane, Eli.
All right, Larry Mack, thank you. As we take a look now at the starting lineup for this evening's Carquest 250. Casey Atwood, second pole of the year, won from the pole at Milwaukee. Jeff Green, the hottest guy on the circuit in the last 10 races. Fine showing for Adam Petty. He's had some good runs and a great qualifying effort. Kenny Schrader's the local favorite up in these parts, but he's never run here before. Hank Parker Jr., buddy ever since the race at South Boston. He's been doing awfully well.
Awfully well, and he runs well on this type of racetrack. Last week in Pikes Peak, he got a lap down and actually passed the lead car there to get back in the same lap. He's very hot right now.
There you see Ted Christopher in the field. Matt Kenseth, he is the series point leader. Kenny Wallace is here, the St. Louis native. Randy LaJoie, two-time Busch Series champion. Curtis Markham is on board. Kevin LePage, 12th here a year ago in this event. Bobby Hamilton Jr., 10th career start in the NASCAR Busch Series. Second last week was Tim Fedewa. He's in a backup car after an accident here. Then you see Butch Miller, Andy Santerre, Tony Roper rounding out the starting field. And by the way, you saw Justin Labonte's picture. The car couldn't be qualified by Terry Labonte fast enough to assure that they would get it in on speed. And since a NASCAR Winston Cup driver is not eligible to take a provisional starting spot in a Busch Series race, all of those fans right there saw Justin Labonte hop on board that race car earlier today. Now, time to take a look at the AutoZone race analysis, brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. As you can tell, 200 laps, 250 miles, so it is a mile and a quarter this racetrack is. Turns 1 and 2, as Buddy touched on before, banked 11 degrees. Turns 3 and 4, 9 degrees. Straightaways are basically flat. You see near the top of the screen up there, those are those new grandstands that they have built. And they were built just a short while ago, so that's why they're not totally filled up. They weren't available for sale. A new 30,000 seat grandstand that has just been added. But every other location at this racetrack is as packed as can be. About a lap away from going green. Let's take a look at the onboard cameras. Curtis Markham will be giving us a ride today. So will Joe Nemechek in the Bell South Mobility entry. Mike McLaughlin, he'll be leaving that Gould's Pumps team at the end of the season. That announcement coming earlier this week. And the 1995 Pennzoil World of Outlaws champion Dave Blaney giving us the ride around the mile and a quarter here at Gateway International.
Yeah, I think he can see us. He waved at us just then when you were talking about him.
They're the spotters. They are above where we're sitting. They're atop the grandstand here. And we are set to go green, 200 laps, 250 miles. Gateway International Raceway in Madison, Illinois, just 5 miles from downtown St. Louis. Glad you're with us for Saturday night at the races.
Didn't take long for Jeff Green to take the lead as he goes down into turn 3. Got a jump on Casey Atwood down the front straightaway, and now he leads this event as we come off turn 4.
So Jeff Green shows the way beneath that crossover bridge. And Green is the leader of lap number 1 of this Carquest 250, 12th race that he has led in 1999. And remember, folks, the NASCAR Busch Series this year, as is the case with Winston Cup, they give out those bonus points for leading a lap, and Green was only 112 points back, third place in the standings. So that's valuable points that he just picked up. Riding with Dave Blaney now. He's in 8th place. You've got local favorite Kenny Schrader just ahead of him, and behind him there's Mike Dillon in the Kingsford car.
That's Adam Petty running there in a very, very colorful car. He's in 4th place right now, doing quite a great job out there.
And these brand new lights that they have put in here are really spectacular. I'm sure you can see it's really as bright as daylight, as they say. The drivers are saying today in the garage area, these are some of the very best lights they've seen. That's 15th place. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 3 moving in, brings Ted Christopher in that white car with him. That dark green car, that's Jeff Fuller caught to the outside, and he'll backslide with Joe Nemechek to his inside. Meanwhile, up front, there you see Casey Atwood trying to take advantage of Green going wide.
This kid is phenomenal on a flat racetrack, and the last time he started on the pole, guess what? He won in Milwaukee not long ago.
Still there. Still there. Still outside.
Listening to Casey's radio.
Still there. There you go. Clear. Clear all around.
So Casey Atwood, lap number 4.
Good job. Clear all around.
Takes over the lead here at Gateway. And look at that scramble for 5th, 3 wide. Dillon in the Kingsford car, the Amoco colors Blaney, the 15 for Oakwood Homes, that's Kenny Schrader. As we ride with Blaney now, that's Schrader, who's never run here. Of course, he's from St. Louis. Folks love him.
Clear outside, doing it.
He's seen this track, but has never run at Gateway.
Blaney's got a good run on the bottom side there. Schrader in the 15 on the outside there. You see they almost touch. It's very narrow down the straightaway here, and you have to use a lot of brake getting into the corner.
And watch how it narrows up again going into turn number 1 right there. Can 3 wide work? Barely. Dillon in the 59 with the gutsy move. Man, I was holding my breath on that. I had trouble getting through that corner in my rental car, and problems for Fuller. We showed you Fuller running high much of the lap there.
Phil Parsons also
Phil
involved.
Parsons problems in the Alltel Monte Carlo. So Fuller, who is running in 19th, Parsons in 25th. And we've got caution on the speedway at lap number 5. So Jeff Fuller and Phil Parsons. And there's Phil taking one of the infield road course routes. Watch what happens here. Let's see.
Okay, that's Fuller right there in the green car.
Looks like he got nudged from behind by Todd Bodine in the 66.
Matt Kenseth just does go by in the 17 car.
And Raines in the 74 spins. And Phil had nowhere to go in the middle of all that.
Boy, when Fuller turned around there, Matt Kenseth was in between 2 cars and almost got taken out. That would have been big on his points race.
So all of this taking place at lap 5 and 6. Continuing around is Jeff Fuller as cautions come early here at Gateway. Looked like Todd gave him some help.
Hear me?
He went around so quick,
Yeah, we
I
can hear
really
you.
I couldn't say, but I did see Phil Parsons.
Y'all
I
want me
had
to
to
go
say something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
TNN Motorsports live
Hello.
coverage of the NASCAR. Yeah, Glenn. The Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts.
Whatever you gotta do.
All right, can we take a look at that again?
Boy, he was right in the middle
I
of
want
a
to see
sandwich
if
there.
Todd really did spin him,
Hey,
and if not, I want to
open,
correct it.
y'all open us up. He's got some damage on the left
Yeah.
rear corner there. It's pretty significant, too. Glenn, we heard you just start the report.
Watch it again. Watch it again. Let's see if Todd hits him. Let's let it roll. Let it roll a second.
No.
Oh, I think he did too.
Well, look right there, though. The 37 got into Kenseth on the left rear corner.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe Todd might have nudged him.
That's Kevin Grubbs that got into him.
Yeah. Grubb.
Grubb.
No S.
No S. Grubb, as in Grubb.
Was there a driver change in the 44? Can you guys double check?
Are you here in the pits?
No.
Okay.
Terry is in it now. Thank you. I don't care.
Are we going to set this up with the ISO like we did last?
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from the Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. There is Matt Kenseth back on the pit lane. He's got a good bit of damage to the left rear of that DeWalt car. Glenn, how bad is it?
Well, Eli, when he came by here, I was watching the wreck take place, and he just about got by it, but somebody came up underneath him and hit him in the left rear. It's not too bad. It looks around like it's mostly sheet metal. They're going over now. You can see them working on the car right now, trying to pull the sheet metal away, make sure it doesn't cut a tire, but it's definitely going to hurt the car aerodynamically. Here's Larry McReynolds.
Well, Glenn, I'm here with Phil Parsons. A lot of work going on the Alltel car, removing the hood. Phil, early in the race, just kind of holding your own. What happened from your standpoint?
I don't have the slightest idea what happened. You guys probably up in the booth could tell, but we went down in turn one there, and somebody undoubtedly got turned around, and they just woed up in front of us, and just had no time to react. The 74 car jammed on the brakes, and I ran in the back of him, busted the radiator, probably the oil cooler. But these Alltel guys will get us back out. We really hate it because we're really making some moves in the points, but not today.
Well, that's the story from Phil Parsons. They'll try to get out there and get some of those valuable points, as I think we're about ready to go back to racing, Eli.
We are, Larry Mack, going back to green now. This first caution came out at lap number 5. Casey Atwood is the race leader, took over at lap number 4. Jeff Green staying with him. The 50 of Mark Green was on pit road, so he was trying to get his lap back, and as you see, was unable to do so on that restart. There was a driver change during that caution. Terry Labonte has gotten back into the Slim Jim car, replacing his son Justin, who, as we said, had to qualify today in second round of qualifying because he was eligible for a provisional starting spot where Terry, as a Winston Cup regular, was not. So that change was made for qualifying. Justin starts the car and Terry now takes over. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 3. He's up to 11th now, following Mike McLaughlin. Remember, he started 18th.
That looked like bump drafting going down through there. The 3 car there, Dale Jr. was right up under the 34 McLaughlin down the straightaway. It looked like he might have been pushing.
50 cars a lap down, Mike. 50 cars already one down.
That was the voice of the spotter talking to Mike McLaughlin. His spotter is Buddy Red Dog Barnes, handling those responsibilities here tonight. Up front, no change among the leaders, but it's as hot as can be.
Still clear.
Both temperature-wise and on the racetrack, still in the 90s here outside of St. Louis, even at this late hour.
For the people who've never had a chance to meet Casey Atwood, he's 19 years old, and he has the talent of a man 30 years old. He ran at Nashville Weekly for years up there, finally got a chance in Busch Grand National a couple of years back, and he's made the best of it. I tell you, this is a real talent.
The race leader was the 32 car, Jeff Green. Laps 1, 2, and 3. Then Atwood took over at lap number 4. Jason Keller, then Adam Petty and Mike Dillon. That's your top 5 right now. Glenn
Still clear. Got a car line.
You see the work going on Jeff Fuller's car right there. When he first came by me after that spin, it didn't look like he made contact with anything. Just had a little minor damage to the left rear, but it did something to the car when he came by on the lap right before the green flag flew again. A big puff of smoke came out of it. He's got some kind of fluid leak. They've been under the car for about 3 laps now, trying to find it, trying to track it down. But I tell you, he just hasn't had a good night. He got spun, he got bumped, and now he's got something leaking fluid. He's having to sit in the pits.
He's got all kind of problems. From our angle, we can see the right side of the car also banged in where he got into the wall some. So he got a lot of damage on the 89 car, Jeff Fuller does.
Meanwhile, single file out of turn 4, back to turn number 1. Casey Atwood leading, but Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s bunch, led by Tony Eury, watching their man climb the list. Watch the deal on the 6 car. Can you guys see that? The 6 is dragging something. I can't tell. Every time he goes into the corner, all sorts of. He's a black car, Joe Bessie.
Hello, Pitts.
Yeah.
He's only doing it in the corners, isn't he? Because I couldn't see it on the front stretch.
I can see it. It's the exhaust pipe.
Is that what it is? Just dragging?
Yeah, they're running these cars very, very low on the racetrack. Look how close to the surface the front nose piece is.
I guarantee you they're running them soft is what they're doing, real soft.
When he goes down in the corner, it's just dragging underneath his off.
Yeah, you think so? Gary Clem thinks it's the muffler.
Yeah, it's the muffler.
Yeah, muffler.
Yeah, I'll call it the muffler.
All right. Thank you, guys. There it is. You see it?
Yep.
But it was not in the right place for him to be bottoming out, but I guess he is.
Mighty size.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for letting us talk to the pits. That helps a lot. Okay. Joe Bessie's only ran a couple of races this year. He's dropping way, way back.
Yeah, well, he's got
all kind of problems too, yeah. He's still smoking.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lead change, it looks like. Remember Milwaukee? Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. That's the battle for the lead coming right into your living room. Jeff Green to the inside. Got him at the stripe. Casey Atwood relegated back to second. Jeff Green, the hottest man, as we said before, in the NASCAR Busch Series of late. 3 top 4 finishes in the last 4 races. And, buddy, a lot of folks were with us at Milwaukee. Remember those 2 guys going at it again for that win on the last lap?
Yeah, it was just exactly this picture that you're looking at, and Casey Atwood got into the left rear corner of Green and moved him up in the racetrack and got his first win. But right now, it looks like Jeff Green has the better of the 2 cars.
Now, a lot of these guys are really bottoming out. Not so much the front 2, but Joe Bessie in particular. Let's see if we can watch the power team machine. He's running in 11th. He goes into the corner. Well, of course, the one time you're looking at him, he doesn't do it. But it's kind of like when you go to the dentist, right? And your tooth stops hurting as soon as you climb in the chair. But a lot of these fellas, Glenn, have really been bottoming out. An awfully soft setup, I guess, huh?
Well, it is, Eli, particularly on the front springs. This racetrack, for as fast as it is and as long as it is relatively flat through the turns. So they put softer springs in the car on the front of it to make the cars turn. I've been watching Bessie. I saw what you're talking about. The sparks come just exactly at the point that he gets on the brakes to go into the first turn. All it is, well, my director, Gary Clem, said it was the muffler, but I don't really think it is. I think it's the exhaust pipe, but if Gary wants me to call it a muffler, then the muffler's dragging.
Well, he's a director. No, they're never wrong.
Well, they got it showing right there. There's a piece way down just in front of the rear tire there that's bumping just a little bit. Also, a low piece there at the looked like maybe off the sway bar on the front there was way low on the car.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., meanwhile, is now running in 7th spot. There he is, climbing his way up, closing in on that red, white, and blue car of Dave Blaney. Riding with Blaney, and you see Earnhardt Jr. closing in from the rear flank. Dale's having himself a very solid run right now, Larry Mack.
Eli, I talked to Tony Urey Sr. today and just said, you know, what car have you got here? He said, Larry, this car has been sitting on jack stands at the shop ever since Rockingham, North Carolina, back at the beginning of the season. He said Dale hated the race car, but what they decided to do, they felt like they bobbled so bad at Myrtle Beach and Pikes Peak with a low snout car, they decided to bring a conventional car, and I'd say in 22 laps, the plan's on schedule so far.
I would think so. And remember, in his last 6 races, folks, he has finished first, third, but then 25th and 36th. More in a moment. I was thinking of saying something, but I didn't want to lose my job.
Doggone, he took my thing. That was the car they wrecked in Rockingham, totaled it. It's got a brand new bars all the way, new clip and new on each end.
All right.
I got to tell you what that car is. Did I say what car he's driving, what the name of it is?
Now, here comes Phil back. Fuller's going behind the wall. So Phil will be 20 down. Jeff Fuller going behind the wall.
Sorry, that's Casey Atwood's driving.
Brought to you by LA West Luxury Van. Available at select dealerships nationwide. Call for a free video. 800-786-VAN. Radio communications are provided by Racing Radios. For all of your radio communications needs as well as scanners, call on Racing Radios at 1-800-669-1522. And by Featherlight, the official trailer of NASCAR, CART, IRL, NHRA, ASA, and World of Outlaws. Remember to call Featherlight for all your trailer and motor coach needs at 800-800-1230.
Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. We are live at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, just 5.5 miles from downtown St. Louis. And we've got about half of St. Louis with us here tonight. This racetrack is jammed, and we are having a great night after heat that has been literally unbearable over the last couple of days. But these race fans, you know, folks, they're a hardy bunch, and they're here. There you see the battle for the lead. Jeff Green ahead of Casey Atwood. Now, I'll tell you, things are really shuffling around now because Matt Kenseth has been having problems. He was involved earlier in that accident back in the earlier caution at lap 5. You see the damage to the left rear. He is backslid, Glenn, now all the way to 32nd spot. So the points situation could swap around again here this evening.
Yeah, Eli, he and Dale Earnhardt are on two opposite directions, really. Earnhardt on the way to the front. But actually, Matt, when he came down pit road, he pitted that last time. And to do some repair on that damage, he has finally started to move around a couple of cars, but for about 10 or 15 laps after the restart there, he couldn't pass anybody, so he was really struggling. But finally, he's starting to work his way forward just a little bit, but he's in 31st now. But I tell you what, he's got a long way to go, and I don't think he's got the race car to quite do it the way he wants to.
He is 16 seconds behind the race leader.
Eli, you see that left rear quarter right there sticking out in that air. It's just like a door open on that car. It's got to be hurting it, as Glenn said, down the straightaways.
Clear.
Now, while that charge to the front continues, this is a great battle shaping up here. Blaney Earnhardt Jr. and Kenny Schrader at his 5th, 6th, and 7th. As you ride with Blaney.
I got a feeling Earnhardt's going to like this car, even though he did almost totally the first race in Rockingham this year. That he ran this car. Larry, this car is just absolutely perfect. You were right. He'll change his mind about how this car handles through the corner.
But the guy he's chasing now, Blaney, with whom we're riding, remember, he had a 6th place finish here a year ago after battling with Tony Stewart. So Blaney likes this racetrack. He enjoys sliding around. Meanwhile, up front, not quite. Casey Atwood had an idea, but couldn't grab the top spot away from Jeff Green, so they continue. Green took the top spot on lap 18. That's some 11 laps ago.
Casey's car much better in the center part of the corner than Jeff Green is right now, especially when he follows him in the tire tracks there. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Casey isn't just checking him out and seeing how he's getting around the racetrack. And if he does pass him, he'll have that groove down pat.
If you're a Phil Parsons fan, he's back on the track 20 laps down. Meanwhile, Jeff Fuller has taken his car to the garage area. So the attrition rate and list has only one name on it now. It is merely Jeff Fuller, with Phil Parsons returning. I don't think an outside pass is going to work at that end of the track.
I don't know. At 19 years old, anything's possible. That's the one nice part of watching Casey as he runs. First time he ever ran in Daytona, he was a factor there, right down to the very end. So he adapts very quick to new racetracks, and he might just have a best car right now, but he uses a lot of maturity.
There you see the front machines. They're middle of the pack. Joe Bessie in that black number 6, riding now with Joe Nemechek in 12th spot, Larry Mack.
Eli, Joe was one of the guys that come up here and tested for 2 days. Not actually 2 days, but 2 nights. He run under the lights 2 nights in a row up till about 11 o'clock or midnight. His car's driving good right now, but you might notice him breathing it on the straightaway. The problem he's got is it's running hot. So they're looking for a caution, maybe get in here, pull a little bit of tape off that thing and see if they can get the engine cooled down.
And the reason they put tape on there is to get more downforce on the front of the car. And they put a lot of tape up there. They know they have too much tape on it. He will breathe it. When he comes in, they'll take a couple of pieces of tape off and he'll be okay. See all that tape on the nose of that car?
They'll try and remove some if the circumstances permit. Running in 12th spot right now. Martha Nemechek is here. She was busy in the pits today in the heat of the day. We'll talk about her when we come back in a moment. Didn't want to steal your story. I'll let you...
Hey, Glenn. Hello, guys.
Eli, buddy, anything y'all see we need to be checking on?
Adam Petty's dropping back just a little bit. Is there anybody close to him?
Still got 6 car lengths.
I know he's still in 4th, but he looks like he's losing some ground to the leaders now.
Kevin LePage is moving up. The 99 is all the way up to 14th now, guys.
Where did he actually start?
29th. Yeah. All right.
They're going to have to get going here. Those other guys are running them down. Hey, Glenn, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can't hear you on the program.
Oh, okay. Oh, my.
Way low.
Buddy is way low, and I tell you, when they open the mics, all I hear is run, run, run.
Hey, guys, why don't we check on the 36? I believe he's either lost a cylinder or he's got a major problem.
All right, I'll walk
guys.
down that way. That's at the other end, Glenn.
I'm sorry to send you, but he's all the way back in 39th spot now.
And he crashed his primary car.
That's the backup, right.
All right,
new leader.
Should be able to pull away now. Good job. Run your line. Settle down. Run your line.
And Phil is back in the garage. All right.
Close the mics. We don't need...
We'll pay it off just verbally then, Gare.
You're clear.
Welcome back, everybody. That's Martha Nemechek. I want to tell you a story. We probably shouldn't because it doesn't speak well of us. She cheers Joe on like she always does. Today, in the heat of the day, all of us big old burly guys are trying to find some air conditioning to suck into our lungs down in the media center. And what was Martha Nemechek doing today, buddy?
Well, the heat index was 105 degrees, and I went down in the garage, and I was feeling pretty bad that I had to be down there. I looked over, and Martha was waxing this 87 in the heat of the battle down there. They were changing everything under the car, and she was actually waxing the car. And I said, you know, if she can do that, I can certainly walk around here and get more information.
Indeed so. She's quite a special lady, really is. And there's Joe Nemechek. He's running in 10th right now. The leader of the race at this moment is Casey Atwood. He took the lead at lap number 36, bypassing Jeff Green. Here's how he did it.
Bottom side of the racetrack, got a little bit loose under Jeff there. Down the straightaway, Jeff pulls about a quarter, halfway through by him, and now here comes Casey down in turn 1. Preferred line is the bottom of the racetrack, made it look pretty easy.
So things going well for Casey Atwood, not so for Tim Fedor. We told you at the outset of the broadcast that he had a wreck in practice, has gone to the backup car, and he's running in 40th right now. And I don't know if it's merely the fact that the backup machine didn't get dialed in. He's not getting off the corners well. You wonder if he even has an engine problem or something, but tough evening right now for Tim Fedor.
Yeah, that's a backup car, and normally you don't bring your best car and plan to pull it off the truck. When you go to a backup car, it's exactly what it is. It's something to fill in. It's not quite as good a car as he wrecked.
Had a second place finish, season's best at Pikes Peak International Raceway just 1 weekend ago. So tough break for Tim Fedor. And you see he's about to be lapped now by Casey Atwood.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good cars that go a lap down if they're not careful. Casey Atwood has turned it up another notch right now, and he's moving away.
Phil Parsons back out of the garage again. Phil has been in and out of the garage area regularly of late. He's some 23 laps down at this stage of the evening. Jeff Fuller, the only car still being worked on in the garage area.
Eli, Casey Atwood's pulled out pretty well there, but I think Jeff Green's moving back a little bit because 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th would really tighten this battle up back there. It's going to be a good race here in for second place.
Right now, though, it's still 7/10 of a second in that yellow car between 1st and 2nd. Fedor, he's being shown a lap down. Petty, Blaney, Earnhardt Jr. Great run for Adam Petty in that 45 car, that multicolored machine you see coming into the forefront. Kevin LePage having a great run, started 29th, and LePage, there he is in the Redman number 99 car. He's running in 15th spot right now. So Kevin LePage doing himself proud.
Yeah, and the one thing he hadn't forgotten, he loves the Busch Grand National racing, and anytime he has a weekend off, he's in that 99 car and participating.
Matt Hunter has driven the car of late with Kevin LePage busily at work in NASCAR Winston Cup. But this weekend it's LePage's ride. A lot of guys can't stay away from the racetrack. Who'd we see here yesterday? Kenny Irwin was in town checking out the USAC Silver Bullet Series, which, by the way, will be seen when we move aside. We taped a race for you here last night. That'll be seen when the Busch Series coverage wraps up this evening. And Kenny was here, says, oh, I love those cars. He said, I got a weekend off, I'm going racing.
He was more than just here. When do you see tonight's broadcast?
Larry Mack, what about Tim Fedor? Still running back in 40th. Car, engine, what's the deal there?
Well, I talked to John Fabian, Eli, his crew chief, and you're right. This is going to be a weekend that they definitely want to forget about. As you said, go into a backup car. Elected not to qualify in the heat of the day, just work on race setup. They had carburetor problems. The carburetor was missing and stumbling in happy hour. They felt like they found it, but when the race started, he said, guys, I got bad news. This carburetor is still missing bad. So the troubles continue for Tim Fedor.
Too bad for Timmy, who was looking forward to a good race here today again, especially after that fine second place finish at Pikes Peak a weekend ago. Adam Petty's bunch is happy. Their guy's running 4th. Buckshot Jones watching too.
You know what I thought? I thought you were saying that was Buckshot on top of it.
Oh, no.
Didn't you?
I didn't have time to get the word team out.
What's he doing? Who's driving his? Labonte just went a lap down.
Yes.
Still there.
Let me check his shift.
Well, let's watch it then. If we can see it, we have an inside look.
There.
Yeah, here we go down into turn 1. No shift there. No shift.
I didn't know we had telemetry.
Oh, Joe Bessie.
Joe Bessie. Hope you can experience country.com, your personal source for all things country. From race cars to country stars, you know where to find TNN on the World Wide Web at that address, www.country.com. That's where we are on the World Wide Web. By the way, folks, you can race into the all-new and official stores of NASCAR. NASCAR Thunder, and by the way, you want to visit the Louisville, Kentucky NASCAR Thunder location in the Oxmoor Center Mall on Wednesday, August the 4th. This coming Wednesday from 5 until 6:30. NASCAR Winston Cup driver Joe Nemechek will be there. And for more information on Joe's appearance, you can call 502-426-5165. That is NASCAR Thunder, Louisville, Kentucky, where I know our director Gary Clem will also be on hand to grab one of those Nemechek autographs. Riding with Joe now.
Let's watch what he's doing. He's in the middle of turn 1 right now, picking the throttle up. You can see him really getting on that steering wheel, getting in the corner. Down the straightaway there, 7,000, 78 to 4, 76, 77, right at 8,000. Almost 140 miles an hour.
You know what else we've been seeing periodically in our monitors here, that Joe on occasion will shift. Some of the drivers said that they are going to shift on occasion around this racetrack. Todd Bodine said he shifted during practice, but he really didn't see any benefit to it.
8,000 then and 144 miles an hour, so he's quicker off down the front straightaway there because of the length of the turns 3 and 4.
But Larry Mack riding with Nemechek now, and I don't know if you can have a monitor down there on pit road, but you scrub off so much speed in turns 1 and 2 that I guess that's where the guys figure they might be able to get a benefit by shifting.
Well, that's the thing, Eli, and I went through the garage air for 2 days trying to figure out who would shift here, because when I saw a drawing of Gateway Speedway, it reminded me so much of the Motegi Japan racetrack that a certain car won by shifting there last November. The two ends are so different. Turn 1 and 2 is very tight. The RPMs get very low, and 3 and 4 you're not off the gas at all. But what I think the drivers found out, with it being that different, especially when they was trying to work traffic, that they would leave it in 3rd gear. What they've got a real close 3rd gear, which will give you maybe about a 10 or 15 point lower gear. But the thing about it, you can't do that down the front straightaway. You'll turn way too many RPMs. And several drivers indicated to me, hey, like you said, we'll shift if we need to. So I bet you there's more shifting than we'd admit to.
And we were watching there, we're at about 5 or 6 laps, and Joe never did shift while we had him up on the screen, but previously he was. Watch this scramble for 14th place right now. All of those guys tied together. That's Curtis Markham in the left there. That car you may not be familiar with, the paint scheme. The one is Randy LaJoy. The black machine, that's going to be Jeffrey Bodine, not to confuse him with Joe Bessie. Riding with Curtis Markham now, looking back towards Jeffrey Bodine in the black car, Randy LaJoy in that white and red.
That's the same car that he's ran in the last 3 races that he's run in. He likes that race car, and it really does well. This car right here, that's Randy LaJoy.
Kevin Grubb right behind as well in that blue and green, number 37. All scrambling for position, 15, 16, 17, and 18. That spot for the moment goes to LaJoy, but Jeffrey Bodine's going to try. Oh, that's not going to stick up there.
Yeah, sometimes you make a mistake when you think you're going to move to the outside and really gain up on somebody. This racetrack does not have a groove on the high side of the racetrack. When you get up there, it's very slick.
Just joining us, we've had one caution, lap number 5, when Jeff Fuller, Phil Parsons, Tony Raines, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Grubb all tangled in the corner. Otherwise, we've been clean and green. That's a good scramble for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Keller challenged by Adam Petty with Dale Earnhardt Jr. watching.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is right on the bottom of the racetrack. Car handling quite well. Adam Petty right now trying to figure out what's going on. I can tell him right now that 3's on the move.
He's in 6th, Earnhardt Jr. is. Jeff Fuller returning. He is now 44 laps down after the early accident. But Fuller back on the racetrack as Phil Parsons goes to the garage. So again, still only one name on the attrition list as repairs continue on those cars. Jeffrey Bodine in that 06 you saw earlier. There you see 57 Keller, 3 Earnhardt Jr. That's 4th and 5th. There you see just the 2 leaders, 4 lead changes. Jeff Green led laps 1 through 3, Atwood 4 through 17, Green 18 through 35, and Atwood is now led from lap 36 through where we are, lap number 56.
Eli, that's 2 different ways of getting through the corner right now. Jason Keller in the 57 there, he's going in and actually diamonding the corner, going up in the center part of the corner. Earnhardt hugging the bottom part of the racetrack, right on that white line around the bottom there, getting great drive out of the corner.
We are within shouting distance of pit stops here at Gateway International. We're going to break away and take care of a little business and come back for those stops here on TNN.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Oh, you can hear me now, huh?
It's faintly.
Faintly?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I hope it's not that way on the regular broadcast.
No,
No, I don't think it is, buddy, because when y'all are broadcasting, I can hear you fine. I think it's just Lynn and I are so close to the racetrack, you know, all we're getting is car noise.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be going fine. Good work, guys.
Lynn, what lap? Your guys down there talking like they're going to come.
80 to 85.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. The only car that I talked to today that felt like they was going to maybe try to stretch it out if they got enough caution to lap 100 was that 34 car, and everybody agreed he's pretty much the daddy rabbit of fuel mileage.
Yeah, they get better than anybody.
Yeah.
80.
Yep.
About 20 laps.
And here comes Phil back in the race, so nobody's in the garage.
Kevin LePage is now 14th. Kenny Wallace, 11th. Nemechek is running 8th. Yeah, and I did see 160 on that telemetry one time. I think he spun the wheels there, though. Boy, look at that Firefly out of the 17.
Hope you can log on to NASCAR online at NASCAR.com. During the race, get all the scoring directly from the racetrack and all the up-to-the-second stats. Beforehand, get the lineup and all the full stories of what's going on. Of course, after the races, the full recap and all the news throughout the week. Whatever you want to know about the world of NASCAR, that's the place to find it online. NASCAR.com.
You know, we're watching 27 of Casey Atwood. We reported a while ago that Kenseth was having a tough time because of body work. Well, unlike what we reported, he is really making a move right now, and he's coming up through the pack, even with the body damage he has on the left rear. He seems to be one of the quicker cars on the track.
There you see in 15th spot right now is Matt Kenseth. As the full field rundown coming your way. Sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Matt Kenseth lost the point lead to Dale Earnhardt Jr. following his 32nd place finish at Dover in June.
Just a reminder, Matt, this is a fine adjustment car. A fine adjustment car.
We've been in second place since then. And then reassumed the lead after Pikes Peak. Caution. Caution. Problems off turn number 4. That is Wayne Grubb. The link belt entry continuing on, but caution is on the speedway. It may be a tick early most of the teams were saying 80 laps. They were, oh, look at what that tire shredding is doing to the car.
Well, the right front's flat and it's coming apart. You can see right there, it just tore the right front fender completely off.
So again, it's just a tick early, but I'm sure everybody's going to come in any event. Most of the teams were saying roughly 80 laps. Now we're at lap 64.
See the pieces of tire he's throwing all the way around the racetrack there. That stuff can really do some damage when it gets to hitting that. And it's awful thin sheet metal on a race car anyhow. It's not like the road car that you see running around on the streets.
Oh, and Jeffrey Bodine with problems. So you see the right front going bye-bye. Now, he might well have gone over some debris that was put out there by the link belt car of Grubb.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to what Jeff Gordon had last week in
at Pocono.
Pocono, yes.
So everybody's going to take a look at the situation and decide to make pit stops. The entrance to pit road, kind of like at Nazareth and a few other tracks, is all the way around the corner, back going into turn 3. You have to commit at that point, and then you rejoin traffic exiting turn 2. So once you make the commitment to go to the pits, you spend 3/4 of the lap on the pit lane. Let's go to the pit stops, Larry Mack.
Eli, Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings the attention to the crew of Tony Eury, slides it through just a little bit. He was pretty happy with his car, a little bit loose off, a little tight behind other cars, which means he's losing front downforce. We've got a tire rolling away. Lynn, most of the other leaders are down your way.
Yeah, Casey Atwood and Jeff Green both have come in. Jeff Green's car's been very, very loose. Atwood, they're going to make a slight change on his. He was getting just a little loose. 4 tires all the way around. These guys get 3 sets of tires tonight under caution, as many as they want under green. Both of them are just about the same now. Joe Nemechek beat them all out. Here comes the 87 and 32 out in second and third. So great pit stop for Nemechek. We're going to have to check to see if he changed 4 tires.
So pit stops taking place here as Joe Nemechek was first off the pit lane. Brian Patty in the bunch, showing him the way to the front at Gateway.
What's that? Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah, there you go. That's great. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from the Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Right. Napa, we keep America running. And by AC Delco. Okay, fine. TNN. Damn. Didn't remember clearing my throat that badly, but Lord. Oh, lightning, huh?
Oh,
a lot of lightning.
Yeah, that's going to be important because I think he just took on 2.
Okay.
Look good, don't it?
You do. Where are we? Is that us, right?
Yeah. You would be basically here. What is wrong with that telescope?
I don't know. They keep taking it out for some. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from the Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. And by AC Delco Automotive Parts. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it. Hey folks, tomorrow on race day, highlights of tonight's Carquest Auto Parts 250. We'll have a preview from Dover Downs International Raceway, the IRL and the ASA running there tomorrow. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be running at New Hampshire International Speedway. We'll have a preview. The NHRA is running out in Seattle, Washington. A preview from there. Plus a look ahead to next weekend's running of the Brickyard 400. All of that race day tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern time, right here on TNN Motorsports. Pit stops, the name of the game, Joe Nemechek ahead of Casey Atwood, Jeff Green, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Dave Blaney. And there you see some of the names. Pick out where your favorites are. Nemechek came in 5th, went out 1st. Petty 7th to 12th. McLaughlin from 9th back to 13th, Larry Mack. So some guys benefited, some not.
Well, Eli, I couldn't imagine anybody would stay out, but I come down here to Joe Nemechek's pits, and it's a long way from where I was at. I'm getting too old for this, but anyhow, he did change 4 tires. He uses most of the pit crew from Sterling Marlin's Winston Cup team. The only adjustments they made to the car was he brought the air pressures up some, buddy. He said they had them so low, it took too long for the car to get going. And as we mentioned earlier, they pulled a little bit of tape off that front end to cool it down. Glenn Jarrett, how about Kenny Schrader?
Well, Schrader was having radio problems, Larry. He couldn't hear them, they couldn't hear him, so they just weren't talking. When they weren't talking, they couldn't decide what to do to the car. So they changed radios that time to see if they could correct the problems. I haven't found out yet if they have cured that or if they've cleared that up. I do want to say one thing now, clear up about what I said about Casey Atwood. I said they were making a slight adjustment on his car. His car was actually a little bit tight. It was Jeff Green and Jason Keller's cars are the ones that were so loose. Of course, those cars have similar setups on them, but Atwood's car, they like it. Kip McCord told me they thought they were good for long runs. It had just tightened up a little more than they wanted to.
So we're about set to go back to green. That's how the NASCAR Busch Series points look like at this very second. We are with you at Gateway International Raceway. Right out behind us as part of the spectator area, that's the beautiful drag strip they have for the NHRA Winston Drag Racing. As the NHRA stars visit here, of course, the established grandstand. You see some lightning flashing in the distance. It's been that way with all the heat in the area. The brand new areas that they've built, the new suites and what have you, upping the total capacity here to right at 70,000.
Unbelievable crowd, I'm telling you. You look at the people right along coming out of turn 4 there. They're actually standing out just past the return roads there on the outside. Love their racing in this area. Huge crowd here from the Busch Grand.
Great.
You heard it, green flag. We're back to work. Lap number 70. Now let's see what Joe Nemechek can do with Casey Atwood right behind him.
Here comes Casey Atwood on the inside there, trying to get the inside groove as they head into turn 3, just behind Nemechek now, solidly in second place, not only on the racetrack, but also good. That wasn't me, folks. That was Telestrator messing up there.
But had it been you, it certainly would have gathered.
I would have never told it anyhow. So there you have it.
It was very abstract on your part.
Yeah. Casey Atwood, they said he was not quite right. Well, he had built up a pretty good lead, so that's bad news for anybody that didn't think he was handling just exactly right. You see him now going for the lead.
For the lead.
Oh.
And you hear Joe Nemechek spotters say clear and go, and everybody's back in line. Jeff Green now in 3rd there.
Jeff Green right on the bottom of the racetrack. That great drive out of the corner. Nemechek right now is not quite as quick as the first 2 cars in this race.
Atwood has the lead. Green will grab 2nd spot as Nemechek.
Man, he took him upstairs there. He used quite a bit of racetrack. Yeah. Green did getting in the corner there.
Long straightaway to turn 3. And a sweeping turn, kind of slide it on through the corner.
Yeah, you just kind of walk it through there, just about ready to break loose. Earnhardt's on the move also, just behind Joe Nemechek in the 3 car there. I would say right now, according to our, he was the quickest race car around the racetrack on the last lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was.
129.8 miles an hour. And Larry Mack, we're starting to see Matt Kenseth climb his way to the front. He's up to 9th now.
Well, you're exactly right, Eli. It hadn't been that many laps ago where he was kind of completely out of the picture, running way back at the back of the pack. He had worked his way up to 14th, before that caution, and his guys got him out ninth. He's been complaining about the car pushing or not turning off the corner. They give him 4 tires, raise the rear track bar just a little bit on the right rear, which will help that car turn off the corner. So, as you said, you see on the screen there, he's back in the picture this thing.
He sure is, right back in the hunt. Matt Kenseth looking forward to going NASCAR Winston Cup racing this year, and of course, full-time in the future.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Mark Martin thinks the world of his driving ability, and he said if anybody has a big future in Winston Cup racing, it's Matt Kenseth, and he can't wait until he moves over into Winston Cup.
Well, he'll run at Michigan on August 22nd. Following Shane Hall, who's in 8th, a 43 car. He was on the pole here a year ago. And don't forget Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joe Nemechek. That's the 3rd. And give it to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
See Joe just roll out the throttle there, going into the corner. There's no point fighting this early in the race. Find out why the guy's running so much better than you. Maybe a way he's getting in the corner, maybe where he picks up the throttle, just anything that gives you an advantage. So you follow a guy and really go to school on what he's doing out there.
Dale is 1 1/10 seconds behind those 2 guys. There you see Earnhardt Jr. closing in. That's Tim Fedewa on the low side of the track, that yellow machine. You see him slowing there. Dillon inside of Kenseth, the 59 and the 17. That's for 9th place. Kenny Wallace closing in too, that 25, that red and white machine, the Duraloop car.
25's looking.
Here Kenseth's spotter saying 25's looking.
There behind the 25 if you need it.
So swap it around. Kenny Wallace moves up into 10th. But up front, it's still Casey Atwood and Jeff Green pacing the field.
Clear
It's awfully close behind them here at Gateway International. All right, thank you.
Ever so lightly, Gary.
Ever so lightly. There's no place
like home.
Have you?
Kenny Wallace has 8. Kenny Wallace, if we get to talking about him, has 8 Busch Grand National wins.
Do you sign autographs?
Yeah. Who are you talking to?
Gary Clem.
Oh.
All right.
Look at Earnhardt. He's sailing, buddy.
Yes, he is.
Sliding that baby too. Dirt track
in the garage. Timothy of Fedewa.
He's already won 10 races. His father did win 21 in the years that he raced.
Really?
Yep. Oh yeah. Almost hallelujah. Come on now, Daddy Wags. All right. How we doing? A little better than the
last night.
Silver Crown, huh?
Folks, coming up in a few weeks is a telecast that, as a race fan, I never miss. It's not just a sprint car race. The Amoco Knoxville Nationals, sprint car racing's biggest event, the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, Saturday, August 14th. 9 Eastern and Pacific right here on TNN Motorsports. It is a spectacular weekend up there. Ralph Shaheen, Brad Doty, Steve Evans, Bobby Gerald, all going to be on hand for the high holy days of World of Outlaws racing, the Knoxville Nationals.
That is great racing. Look at this.
Wow.
The hottest guy on the tour right now, Andy Santerre. He won at Pikes Peak. As a matter of fact, on the last 2 runs on a mile racetrack, he won at. He won at New Hampshire in the Busch Grand National North.
Meanwhile, up front, look at this. Jeff Green has the opening he wants, and can Earnhardt Jr. come with him?
Oh, yeah. This car is like glue on the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt just slides it by, takes over second. Now he's just behind Jeff Green. It won't take him very long as well as that car sticks to the bottom of the racetrack to take the lead. And he's also after those 5 bonus points for leading the lap. So he's in a quest right now to get to the front.
How is that set of tires?
Closing in on Jeff Fuller on that low groove there. No chance to make the move. Kenseth, the point leader, is running in 11th, remember. And if you're just tuning in, folks, it has been Jeff Green and Casey Atwood who have alternated the lead all evening long, with the exception of the 4 laps that Joe Nemechek led, middle of the race during pit stops. That's 7th place. Give it to Blaney.
Clear, all clear. Good job, Dave.
Indeed, it was a good job getting around Kenny Schrader going off into the corner.
You know, watching him run, he's ready for the Winston Cup Tour also. Bill Davis is really anticipating a time when he moves him up there as a teammate with Ward Burton.
It's going to be an exciting time come next year for Dave Blaney, 1995 World of Outlaws champ, who's won almost 200 sprint car races over some 15 years. And I'll tell you something, if you can drive, believe it now, especially after watching some more sprint car stuff.
Oh,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. says coming through.
Well, we don't have horns on race cars, and that's the way you get your attention, you know? Yeah, Cale Yarborough used me like that many times. He just let me know.
You kept backing up into Cale's car like that,
Yeah,
huh?
I always did. Yeah, if you ask him, that's what happened.
Joe Nemechek, he's running in 4th behind Green, Earnhardt, and Atwood. But I was going to say before, I believe if you can drive a sprint car, you can drive most anything.
Well, I asked Jeff Gordon that one time, and his answer to that is you run 2 inches off the wall, you have respect for the wall, and you get good car control. You're also overpowered for the wheelbase you have, so you learn to run out of control quite a bit. Boy, what a great race for the lead. I'm going to get back to what we're doing here.
Yep.
Down in the corner, you see the 3 there of Earnhardt right on the bottom of the racetrack, but Jeff Green will get a better run out of the corner and pull right back up the side of him off the corner.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. did lead that last lap by inches, so says NASCAR's timing and scoring computer. So that'll be the 15th race that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led, and clearly now he does have the lead working into the corner. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the lead, lap number 86.
The crowd loves it. You can see their hands waving there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has brought new life to the Busch Grand National Circuit. I tell you, it's been exciting to watch this kid come up through, win his first race in Texas. The things he's done in these cars has really revitalized the Busch Grand National Circuit.
And you know, in addition to leading 15 of the 21 races this year, he has also led 14 of the last 17. He's been a big-time force of late. Hey, boys, want to do something with anybody? You guys want to talk?
Man, we're having fun listening to you.
Nemechek, after those tires, Larry Mack, after he got the tires all settled out, he looks like he's quick as anybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he just doesn't want to talk to you.
Right. Just explaining another thing that the crew chief will look at to try to tell what the car's doing besides what the driver's telling you.
Aha. I understand that. I used to hear that quite often from the Wood brothers. We don't care what you say, here's what we're going to do. All right.
All right.
better when I can see.
You don't have to have...
Nemechek. Kangas.
Welcome back, everybody. Dale Earnhardt Jr., then Jeff Green, then Casey Atwood, then Joe Nemechek in a line, all running for the lead in the Carquest Auto Parts 250. We are live on TNN Motorsports here at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, just about 5.5 miles from downtown St. Louis. Everybody seeming to have no problem. Larry Mack, you know, we are not even seeing any tire wear problems this weekend for these cars. We saw some for the USAC guys yesterday, but not for these fellas.
Well, no, the tires look good, Eli, after 60-something laps. But, you know, as a crew chief, we're always looking at ways to tell us what that car is doing. Obviously, most importantly, you got what the driver's telling you. That's what you better depend on. But we look at air pressure buildup. We look at tire temperatures. But you think, what do they do with a putty knife? What the tire guy did a while ago is he scraped the rubber off, and he looked at these wear pin holes. Now, this is the right front off of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. What he did, he checked the wear here, and then he went to the right rear and see how much that tire was worn. If the right rear is worn more, the car was a little bit loose. If the right front's worn more, that means the car was tired of pushing. Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. says his car's a little bit tight, but it seems to loosen up as they get into a run, and right now he's looking pretty good, Eli.
Yeah, he is, but he's got himself a handful as Jeff Green made the move as Earnhardt Jr. came off the inside of the corner.
Exactly right, Eli. Jeff Green just got a much better run out of the corner. You see Earnhardt right now just following tire for tire right behind him as they go down the back straightaway. Also, I noticed Larry Mack talked about the air pressure. They went up on Joe Nemechek's car, and it seems to be handling quite better now. He's right in the fight now. I think he's as fast as anybody out there.
Meanwhile, we are right now 6 laps away from the halfway point. So this race just breezing right along. 2 very brief caution flags here tonight. One at lap 5, the second one at lap number 65, and otherwise we have been clean and green. Let's check back in with Glenn as we watch this big battle for the lead.
Well, you can see Casey Atwood going by right now. He has dropped back just a little bit. I asked Skip McCord, his crew chief, if the car was okay since he had fallen from the lead back to fourth. He said, yeah, Casey said the car feels real good right now. He's just riding, putting in laps, not trying to get himself in a position that he can't get himself out of. But I tell you something else that Casey did, or Casey isn't. He is not a baseball fan. Right before the race started, when they were buckling up in the car and they announced that Stan Musial was going to give the gentlemen start your engines command, Casey looked up at me and said, who's he drive for?
He drives for the Hall of Fame, Casey.
Exactly.
3,630 hits for Stan the Man Musial. 475 dingers, 24 All-Star games. He, of course, was and still is Mr. Baseball here. From 1941 through 63, played for the Cardinals, and looked really fit, too, like he could get out there and bang a few over the wall at Busch Stadium today.
Well, it's a treat. We saw Ted Williams not long ago up in New Hampshire. These guys coming out to our sport makes us feel very good.
That's 13th place now that you're watching. The 59, that's the white car. Oh, look at Bessie slide up the banking, about took out Grubb and Christopher. Bessie is all the way back in 34th, and he just got caught up in that mess. And there he is again, Joe Bessie. About converted the 710 split on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see. There's something wrong with that car. You see the right front smoking as he goes down in the corner there. I thought he was going right on through the wall there for a second.
Let's take a look at it again. Watch this. He's in the black car, Bessie.
Watch it just turn. It won't turn. He's going straight up to the wall. Now, what he did smart there, he didn't lock the brake up. If he'd have hit the brake, it would have went right into the wall.
And you saw the 13 of Christopher and Grubb going by, and Bessie going to take his time now, making it back around. There you see a little debris on the racetrack in turn 1, though it is outside of the groove, as you see. Not by much, but certainly outside the groove.
You're right. If you get up there, that is out of the groove. Take my word for it.
The lead, Jeff Green. Here comes Joe Nemechek.
Nemechek is really on the go here. They adjusted tire pressure, as Larry Mack said. The car seems to be very good. And then the tire track of Nemechek, you see the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. going by Jeff Green down the back straightaway.
They are coming to the crossed flags. We will be halfway.
Let's run on the line.
The halfway leader has won 7 times this year. Joe Nemechek takes him to the crossed flags. He is the race leader. Halfway home in the Carquest Auto Parts 250.
You know, one of the greatest races I ever watched was Joe Nemechek and Dale Earnhardt, and it was the reverse of what we're seeing here. The old pro and the new guy.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, the teams don't seem to be too concerned about it. They say the fuel truck that's here is empty, but they've got 2 full cans and another can here, so they all think that they're okay to go the rest of the way. But they certainly don't have any surplus.
Out of fuel?
That's what Atwood's gas man just told me, that they were okay to go the rest of the way.
Oh, good.
They had enough here in the pit.
That's good to hear. Wow, that'd be a knocker, wouldn't it? These two are breaking away here. They're on the bow lap here. I think if Earnhardt would change his groove just a little bit and move up on the racetrack, he'd get a better run off the corner.
Caution, caution.
Caution. There it is. The 40 car.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Blaney and Miller. Not Blaney, Loney.
Loney.
Dave, the tire's okay right there? Well, I'm starting to push 4 and 2. I think I just trying too hard, and I kind of pushed the right front off a little bit.
Do we see what happened?
As good as it was. Okay.
Now the big question is whether they'll jump into pits right now or try to ride until 1 to go or something. So just get, I don't think anybody can go halfway.
Under caution here at Gateway International, that is Brad Loney's car. The channel lock entry of Butch Miller was also involved. And there you see the damage to the right rear of Brad Loney, who had that superb top 5 finish a few weeks ago. Folks are talking about it at Myrtle Beach Speedway when he and Shane Hall and others had great finishes. But Loney and Butch Miller with the caution flag, lap 103, and he's going to the garage area to join Tim Fedua. And there you see Butch Miller. We've been telling you that he was involved as well.
Yeah, he's riding around on a flat tire right now, and that thing's going to come apart if he keeps riding around here.
So we're at lap 104 right now. Here come the leaders. They'll make their pit stops as they break the start-finish line. The stops will be lap 105, 95 laps from conclusion. Nemechek, Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Green, your front 3, Larry Mack.
All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Brings the car to the attention of Tony Eater Sr.
Come on,
I believe they're going to
3,
change
2,
4
1.
tires because they've got over 40 laps on these tires. And this also, if they conserve a little fuel, it'll get them to the end. They are going to change 4 tires. Glenn, how about Casey Atwood and Jeff Green?
Well, Jeff Green has just come in. They're working on the right side of his car as they are Atwood's right now, Larry. They're making another chassis adjustment on Jeff's car. He still must have been a little bit loose because they're putting taking a little bit more wedge out of it. They do come around to the left side on his car. And same thing for Atwood. So it's 4 tires and fuel. Now, everybody wanted to see about 10 or 15 more laps of green flag running. Oh, a problem on Jeff Green. Big problem. Oh, he's lost all kinds of track time. Had a problem on the left front there. But anyway, to finish up what I was saying, they wanted to see about 10 more laps because now it's going to be awfully tough to go 95 laps. The most that we've heard anybody tell us they could go on fuel was around 85 laps. It'll be interesting to see if anybody tries to stretch it.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything in this business. Of course, Mike McLaughlin, they will usually get pretty good gas mileage in the Gould's pump team. Nemechek is still the race leader now.
You're exactly right. And another thing you can factor into this is how many laps they run around here under caution before they get green again. They're using about a third of the amount of fuel as just riding around here right now as they would if they were under acceleration.
Larry Mack?
Eli, buddy, I talked to Brian Patty, crew chief for Joe Nemechek, who come in and took 4 tires. And you're exactly right. They didn't really make any adjustments on that car. But Brian Patty said, I think we might can make it. But as a crew chief, what you've got to do to that driver as soon as he leaves these pits, you've got to say, now's when you've got to save me this fuel under caution. Keep those butterflies closed. And I'm going to bet you with 94 laps to go, there may be some cars out there that can do it if they run enough caution laps.
So Joe Nemechek, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dave Blaney, Casey Atwood, and Matt Kenseth. There's the top 10. It's going to be a good one.
Oh, my.
That's Punxsutawney Phil looking for his shadow.
No, what happens there, a lot of these guys carry hats in their cars. I bet you the air got under it and threw it right out the window.
Yeah.
That's my story.
And you're sticking to it. If we could do something on the 34.
Oh, my, look
guys,
at the
when you
43.
get a chance. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Carquest Auto Parts 250 is being brought to you by the motor oil that TNN. All right.
The news is out all over town.
Start spreading the news.
Hello, Glenn. Looking good right beside the Castrol war wagon, that is.
That would be Glenn Jarrett, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, he is the mileage master.
Not only that, the fact that he's leaving. All right. Leaving C.C. Welliver.
Welliver. You know, he's doing almost the impossible.
Who?
Jumping over here and running that well. You know,
that
just
car
once
ran well with.
Yeah.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Carquest Auto Parts 250 is being brought to you by the motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX. Drive hard. Welcome back, everybody. The NASCAR Push Series under caution here at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis. Joe Nemechek is our race leader. While we've got an opportunity, why don't we check in with Glenn Jarrett? He's got the AutoZone Tech Fact for this evening, brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Glenn?
Hey, thanks, Eli, but I don't have any facts, but this guy does. This is Kip McCord, crew chief for Casey Atwood. And Kip, we've been talking about all day about how you guys have practiced in the hot sun, the heat, as hot as it was here, but you're racing in much cooler temperatures at night. What do you do to try to guess what the thing's going to be? Do you make some changes, or you put the car to where it's very versatile? How do you set up for practicing in the heat, racing in cooler night temperatures?
Well, first of all, I want to commend the Castor team for doing such a good job this weekend. It's been just sweltering heat up here. They worked their tails off. We've been really keeping track of the track temperature, and we've tried to document it all day and all day yesterday, and trying to keep up with it that way and trying to make changes according to track temperatures. The track temperature's a lot cooler today than it has been when we've been here all weekend, so we've been anticipating the tracks tighten up just a little bit and make changes, you know, to compensate for that.
One more question, if you will. Now, we're getting close to that fuel window. Could you make it from here?
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you saw him look over to his right there. He was looking over at the 32 team like, I ain't saying nothing. Well, they say something.
And that is our Tech Fact 4 this evening, and there the 32 bunch sits. They came in third and went out ninth, the Jeff Green team did. As we take a look at the pit summary for you now, you see who did well. There you see Green with his problems. Matt Kenseth did well from 9th to 5th. Kenny Wallace, you see there in the 25 car, dropped a few positions from 7th to 13th. So that's how the top runners did in the pit stops, wrapping up moments ago. We touched on this earlier. In case you hadn't heard, there's going to be a driver change in that car. Mike McLaughlin is leaving the CC Welliver Racing team at the end of the season. They made that announcement earlier this week. He's been with them, I say forever, but in this sport, 6, nearly 7 years is darn near forever. 160 NASCAR Busch Series race, got 5 victories, host of top 5s and top 10s, a bunch of Bud poles, and was third in points in 95. And a couple of years ago again, Buddy was third in points. Be interesting to see exactly where he ends up. I wish I had a dime for every rumor circulating in the garage area here this weekend.
Well, wherever he goes, somebody's going to get a great driver. And you could see him just a second ago resting his right arm over there like he's in a road car. Yeah, professional guys who race a long, long time learn to rest when you get the chance in these cars. And he just threw his arm over there like he's on a Sunday drive there.
Yeah. Mike and his wife Katie doing a little old home week kind of deal here this weekend. Katie has spent part of her childhood in the St. Louis area, and they spent part of Thursday afternoon visiting Katie's old neighborhood and friends and so on. Had a good time, but Mike will be around. He said, don't worry, I'm going to have a ride. I said, I expect you will. There are the spotters again. They are overhead of us on top of this press box and control tower. As the field is going to get the 1 to go signal. Nemechek, Earnhardt, Blaney, Atwood, Kenseth, Keller, Schrader, Grubb, and then Jeff Green back in 9th. Let's get the story on that car.
Well, Eli, remember, as I told you, as Jeff was getting his pit service, they had a little bit of trouble on the left front tire there, and they lost some time. You're looking at Harold Holly right now. He's the crew chief. Whenever the jack was let down and Jeff pulled away, Harold jumped down off the war wagon, the pit box there, and came over to the guy that was changing the tires, and he was really feeling bad. Harold put his arm around him and said, hey, don't worry about it. He said, we got a good race car. We'll make it back up on the racetrack. Don't worry about it. I know you'll do a better job next time. Put it out of your mind. So he was real quick to come right to the guy and tell him, hey, you know, we can fix this. Don't worry about it. Don't get down. We need you next time.
And that's very special. You got to know exactly how to handle the personalities on your team. Very much like a football coach or a baseball manager or whatever it might be. You know, if you take out that DNQ in Rockingham, and then you factor in an average of 9.3, make believe he had made that Rockingham race and finished 9th, Jeff Green would be leading the NASCAR Busch Series points right now. That shows you what one missed race in this day and age will do for you.
Yeah, and he didn't actually miss because of time. He just didn't have points with this team to start the race, and it rained on Saturday. They didn't qualify, and it took him out of the race.
All right, here we go. We'll go at 111.
Cars off.
Starting lap 112. So we're going to be darn close. If they say they can go 80 laps.
Ready. Green.
They'll be looking at 88 to finish this one out. That orange and black number 63, Bobby Hamilton Jr. He's a couple of laps down in 35th. He's that car there to the inside of the race leaders. Had his first lead lap finish, Bobby Jr. did a weekend ago at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Was all smiles. But there are a couple of laps down here tonight. Dave Blaney, he's in third. That's Hamilton Jr. just ahead of him.
Hamilton rolls out, down in the corner. Blaney right on the rumple strips on the inside there.
Looking back, you've got Atwood right in the middle. That yellow 50.
All clear, you're clear.
That yellow 53.
There wasn't a medal. Now this is when young drivers have to be very, very cautious and not do anything that'll take them out of the race. You see Atwood roll out the throttle. I don't know where he got the patience he has, but look at the change for the lead here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. had the lead earlier. Laps 86 through 93, takes it over again at lap 113. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. sees Blaney closing in. Then you've got that yellow car. That's Hank Parker Jr. He is a lap down in 32nd. 17 is Kenseth running in 5th.
Wow, all the way up to 5th. Kenseth, I mean, we had almost written him off as out because of the damage on the left rear corner. And he's already up to 5th place, driving his heart out.
He was tagged at lap 5, folks. If you're just joining us, Kenseth was in the middle of an accident, not of his doing. He got hit by a grub. Mike McLaughlin in 13th, watching that behind him. Dillon and Todd Bodine.
Clear all around, Mike.
Up
Good
front,
job. Good job.
Nemechek into turn 3, takes the lead right back, and now Earnhardt Jr. comes calling.
And while they did that, Dave Blaney in 3rd place car there moved right in on the back bumper. I think Blaney at the moment may be the quicker of the 3 cars.
They're riding with Blaney.
Nice shot. You can see Blaney running about a half a car length lower through the corner than Earnhardt Jr.
34.85.
And Casey Atwood's reeled them in. The first 4 cars are nose to tail now. A lot of victories in the 1st and 2nd place right now. Joe Nemechek has won 7 times. Dale Earnhardt Jr. 10 times on this circuit.
Blaney's never won in the Busch Series. Finished 2nd at Atlanta back in March of this year. Out of top 5 at Nazareth a few weeks back. Finished 4th there. Think about it. We've talked about Blaney forever because of his Pennzoil World of Outlaws accomplishments. This is only his 40th NASCAR Busch Series race. Larry Mack, once Joe Nemechek saw the opening, though, he got gone.
Well, that's it. You know, again, I talked to Brian Patty, been talking to him after every pit stop. As I told you, the first pit stop, they felt like that their pressure was too low. Took too long for the car to come in or start gripping the racetrack. They come up a little bit. It was a lot better as we saw the last segment, but they still felt like for the short runs, it was still too low, so they come up a little bit more. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. went by him, I saw no concerns on his crew because they knew it wasn't long before those tires was going to come to them.
And remember, folks, how well Ron Fellows ran in that Bell South Mobility car at Watkins Glen in that spectacular weekend for him. Ron Fellows, the great road racer from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, was on board that Bell South Mobility entry and nearly swept the entire weekend, did win the Bud Pole. Don't go away, we're coming right back.
Casey Atwood is starting to pick it up a little bit too. Pretty good little race.
Yeah, not bad.
Stuff going on. Earnhardt starting to slide out in the center of the corner. Does that a couple of times, and Mr. Blaney will be up there.
Well, remember, they have to go 88 laps. What is that? 1.25 times 88, Brain. What do you got?
What do you call them? The things that the people have with the knowledge?
Oh, the Mensa.
All right.
They got to go 110 miles since that pit stop.
Look at this. Here comes Earnhardt.
Yeah.
Wow. Can't make it. Here comes Blaney under. Whoop. Don't do it.
Lightning. Lightning.
Oh man, what was that smoke I just saw?
Tires.
No, buckshot.
Oh, buckshot.
Buckshot. See, I did see smoke.
Cheese. Who's your catnip? That commercial?
Yeah. Okay.
Over-the-road transit for this evening's broadcast provided by Ryder Transportation Services. Hey folks, don't forget tomorrow the ASA drivers will be trying to tame the Monster Mile. And trust me, well, you know what Dover's all about, folks. It could be the wildest 150 laps of the season for the ASA teams there at Dover Downs. The Greased Lightning 150. See it tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, all right here on TNN Motorsports. While we were away on break, Buckshot Jones apparently lost an engine. There was no caution, but he has gone to the garage area. Jeffrey Bodine has parked his car. Brad Loney likewise. Good scramble there. That's for fifth. Keller in the 57. Schrader in that blue and white 15. And Jeff Green in that 32.
Randy LaJoy, and you see Matt Kenseth just behind these four cars right here. He is backsliding just a little bit, so aerodynamics are hurting him just a little.
That's for fifth place. 4.7 seconds behind the leader, Joe Nemechek. Haven't heard much from LaJoy, but now he's starting to rumble in the Bob Evans car. Picks off the spot and goes around green for 7.
At Myrtle Beach, just a couple of weeks back, he was in this very car and just had a great run. It's his favorite car, and it seems to be handling quite well.
Randy's day has been pretty solid, just progressing up through traffic.
Right around the bottom, you see Schrader in the 15 there on the outside. They're side by side down the back straightaway.
Up front, that's the battle for the lead. Nemechek and Earnhardt Jr.
Boy, those two cars are so evenly matched right now. Earnhardt will go make a move on him, try to drop to the inside. Nemechek gets a great run down the straightaway, and Earnhardt can't make the pass. But they've been dicing back and forth for the last 5 or 6 laps just a bit for a moment.
That was Mark Green, around whom they went. There's Jeff Green with Kenny Schrader. That's for 7th, and here comes Kenseth in that yellow 17. The 25 is Kenny Wallace. You see the nose of his car right there now.
25 looking on the outside.
Kenseth's radio. Remember, folks, through all of this, if there are no more cautions, the lead team said they would go about 80 laps before they came in the pit. Everybody's looking at 88 laps, 110 miles since they made their pit stops.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys may have a fast race car right now, and they may be trying to save a little fuel by running in packs like this and kind of easing out the throttle at the end of the straightaway. Looking at Kenny Wallace there in the 25, he's an 8-time winner in the Busch Grand National Circuit and certainly knows how to get around these racetracks, and a crowd favorite here in this area.
Taking that fuel story a step further, some are even looking at as many as 95 laps. So it's going to be very interesting to see. 88 under green, 95 in total. It's going to be a push.
Yeah, I was just thinking Kenny Wallace almost won in New Hampshire on gas mileage. So finished second, his career best in Western Cup. So he may be just riding along here in the catbird seat right now.
Yeah, that was the race where Tony Stewart ran out of fuel with 3 laps to go. John Andretti pitted, gave the win to Jeff Burt, and Kenny Wallace came home in the second spot. That's the battle up front. Joe Nemechek, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Atwood's teams. This guy's in 4th.
I don't believe there's a car out there that can go.
I can't see how they can go.
Do what? Why is it not hearing me? Not hearing me, eh? Okay.
We hear you. There's the lead.
They hear me.
They said
they hear me.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from the Gateway International Raceway outside of St. Louis is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. TNN Motorsports.
Boy, you're garbling on your commercials here. Did you hear it?
I wrote it down. Inside NASCAR, they say. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something. This division's gonna take a whack when these boys leave, aren't they, boy?
They put on some great racing.
Excuse me. Oh,
You're excused.
I went down.
Okay.
Okay. Is that better?
Still sounds like you. TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from the Gateway International Raceway outside of St. Louis is being brought to you by the more than 2,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Hey folks, don't forget, for all the latest NASCAR news, which will include, I'm sure, the battle for the lead here at Gateway, it'll be Inside NASCAR tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here on TNN Motorsports. Ned and Steve and Stephanie Boyd-Durner. Uh-oh, tough break for Curtis Markham. Caution is on the speedway. He was running in 22nd spot.
Right rear tire down on the car. You see it flapping there as he's trying to get going again. He's down in the grass on the bottom part of the racetrack.
Caution is at lap 134. Take a look at what happened here.
Oh, he got a little tap there from Adam Petty in the 45. And
another
then a
tap.
Real tap there. Adam Petty hard up against the outside wall there. That had to damage his car quite a bit also.
Adam Petty, Curtis Markham, tangling lap 134. And we are under caution for the 4th time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had taken the lead from Nemechek at lap 131. Now, Adam came down pit road too soon before the pits were opened, so he will have to rejoin the field at the tail end of the longest line of traffic once the repairs are wrapped up.
Eli, that car is really, really damaged.
Yeah, that's the least of his problems.
I'd say, yeah.
Now remember, Curtis Markham has an onboard camera. Let's see what he dealt with here.
Right about there. Makes me love my job, I'm telling you. I've been there and felt that before. Watch Adam Petty hit him right there and really hit him hard in the left rear corner.
And you saw those two guys in the foreground saying they're coming our way. Let's get out of here. And they lumbered to safety. So pit stops and all the questions about fuel going out the window. These stops at lap 136, Larry Mack.
Joe Nemechek brings his car down pit road, 45 miles an hour, pit road speed, brings it to the attention of Brian Patty and the crew. Really couldn't get him to tell me whether they was going to change 2 or 4. Maybe a good time to change 2 tires since they only have 30-something laps. They go to the right side, tear the windshield tear off. Looks like it's going to be a 4-tire stop. They're on the left side. Glenn, any 2-tire stops down your way?
Yeah, Larry, I'm looking at 93. They're making a chassis adjustment on Dave Blaney right now. They've got the right side done. They're on the left side. Putting the fuel in the car. As we've already said, this will be the last stop. Now move down to Casey Atwood. Blaney's down and away. Atwood is down and away. Here comes Jason Keller on by. Jeff Green has lost a few positions again as he comes by. So 4 tires and fuel and what they hope will be their last chassis adjustment on lap 136.
So we're, what, 64 laps from wrapping this one up. So barring a problem, that would be the last stops for everyone. We are under caution here at Gateway International. Back in a moment.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Butchie's had problems.
That looks like Gary Clem might have been behind the wheel on it.
Yeah.
That Butch Miller, he had a huge wreck a while ago. I think Adam thought he had time to go on the high side there. Just didn't work out.
Did 25 stop? I mean, if he did, he just must have come in for fuel or something.
Maybe he liked that set of tires and said, let's roll the dice, huh?
They weren't that old.
What's the ambulance for? Where? Right here. Right behind the FedEx building, right in front of us here.
Oh, that
Drivers,
was the
race teams and race vans. The
driver,
99 Team Simpson
Martin.
Racing catalogs now available. For more information, call 1-800-71-RACIN or visit
25. We find out when 25. Thank you.
Drivers, race teams, and race fans. The 99 Team Simpson Racing catalogs now available. For more information, call 1-800-71-RACIN or visit the Simpson website at simpsonraceproducts.com and join Team Simpson today. Mack Trucks are furnished by Clement Chevy Mack Sales. For all your truck and tractor needs, call Clement at 1-800-369-MACK. Winnebago Industries, the official motorhome of TNN Motorsports. For information on Winnebago Industries products or the Winnebago Motorsports team, call 1-800-643-4892.
Welcome back, everybody. The name of the game, pit stops for all of the top teams. Lap number 136. Some interesting storylines developing with that man, Kenny Wallace, having taken over the lead. Larry Mack, let's start there first with Kenny.
Well, I talked to the world infamous David Ift, and I said, David, what did you do? How did you get the lead? He said, hey, we only had 23 laps on our left side tires. We needed track position. We took 2 tires, made sure that thing's full of fuel. He was happy with the car, so may not be a bad move. But the bad news is the cars behind him, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., 4 tires, no adjustments, happy with the car. The thing about it now, everybody has used their 3 sets of tires under caution that NASCAR allowed them. So as a crew chief, you just say, hey, gang, you got what you got for 62 more laps.
Bobby Hillin Jr. was 18th. He's now all the way up to 4th. So a lot of changes. Watch what happened again during this accident. Man, that is something right there. So we're getting the 1 to go signal. Field is 1 lap away from going to green. Adam Petty is going to join Curtis Markham in the garage area.
Yeah, the whole front of that car was caved in. I knew when he pulled in that the radiator had to be broken on the car. Also, Eli was having to hold both hands up in to keep me from yelling when he hit the wall. Wow, I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been there and done that, and it's not a good feeling when you know that you're gonna get hit from cars that are coming at you.
And there you see Adam Petty's machine being pushed towards the garage. He will join Tim Fedewa, Brad Loney, Jeffrey Bodine, Buckshot Jones, Joe Bessie, Curtis Markham, and of course Petty going in. There's the race leader, Kenny Wallace. We've seen David Blankenship drive that car at times this year when Kenny's NASCAR Winston Cup obligations kept him away. Some others we got to note. Ted Christopher came in 16th, goes off the pit lane in 8th. Super run for the driver from the Busch North Series of NASCAR and the Featherlight Modified Tour. Also, Tony Raines, who is right now comfortably atop the NASCAR Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year points by 175 over Hank Parker. He came in 24th and goes out 13th. So a good stop right there for Raines as well.
Truck's in, get ready. Get ready. Ready. Go, go, go. Clear all around.
Everybody back into turn one. You see Hank Parker Jr. in that yellow machine unlapping himself. He is now on the tail end of the lead lap. If he can stay there.
I don't think he can. Joe Nemechek's car is so very strong on the restarts, and so is the 3 of Earnhardt.
And you saw Kenny Wallace getting shuffled right off that start back to third.
Yeah, new tires got to help on a racetrack that's this flat. You need all the grip you can get, and when you have used tires, you can see what's happening to him right now.
And there you see Hank Parker Jr. about to go the lap down again, and does.
All right.
Earnhardt Jr. putting him away also.
Tell you something, this reminds you, same names, different people. Remember that NASCAR Busch Series race at New Hampshire a number of years ago with Nemechek and Dale Earnhardt, not Junior, but Dale Earnhardt, and the great battle they had that afternoon.
Yeah, reverse roles. Now Joe Nemechek is the guy with all the experience, and young Earnhardt there in the background, but it was one of the most exciting races coming off turn 4. Nemechek held off Dale Earnhardt to win his first ever Busch Grand National race.
Hey, Larry Mack, for the longest time the garage was empty. It's starting to fill up now.
Yeah, the attrition's starting to work on these guys. I'm here with Adam Petty as his crew's working feverishly on the front end. Adam, just kind of biding your time and nowhere to go, huh?
Yeah, my car went away really, really bad there after the beginning of the race, and it's my fault. I feel terrible for Curtis. He had a good run his first race with Graybar, and I just pushed up and took him out. It was my fault, and we'll fix it. Go back out there and try to get some rookie points and go to IRP next week.
That's the thing, you know, even with just a handful of laps to go, they're trying to get this car back out there, get those Busch points, and get those rookie points.
Adam Petty is third in the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year standings, 221 points behind Raines. There's Randy LaJoie following Jason Keller, 6th and 7th. LaJoie is in that number 1 car. Jeff Green right there watching him. Green's been tough, has led much of this evening. And the fellows who are already done for the evening. Those are the ones officially out of the race. Of course, Curtis Markham also done for the evening, and Adam Petty may or may not be able to return.
Watching Jason Keller there in the 57 car. In Myrtle Beach just a couple of weeks back, he was leading the race with 3 laps to go, had a tire go flat on his race car, and he lost to his teammate, Jeff Green. Had to be one of the biggest heartbreaks of his career.
Still talks about it, you know, as well you know, you guys who are drivers have to learn to, hey, finally dismiss something. You know, it happened, whatever, and it's over. As you see the battle right there for position, that's for third, given to Casey Atwood. But even to this moment, Jason Keller still kind of bothered by what happened there on the short track.
Boy, winning's not easy, and when you lose one because of lap cars and one cutting your left rear tire down, you remember it for a long time.
Bobby Hillin and Matt Kenseth 8th place there. Give it to Matt Kenseth, who grabs it in the 17 car.
We're clear.
Ted Christopher in that white number 13.
Ted Christopher completely sideways in the center part of the corner. This guy's got a great future, I feel like, in Busch Grand National also. Tremendous driver, Feather Light champion, just a super driver.
Clear.
Now the radio from Mike McLaughlin. He comes out of turn number 4 and settles in an 11th spot right behind Christopher, who is proudly in 10th. 53 laps to the finish. Fuel and tires should not be a problem. Hey, even the praying mantises want a good seat. You've got the best one, though. Don't go away.
Isn't that incredible?
The praying mantis. How'd you find that?
That's bad as they found the, what was it in Daytona they had?
They had the little gecko of some kind.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a frog. It was a bug. It's a thing.
A thing.
It was a thing.
Earnhardt's pushing in center corner, I think.
A lizard. It was Louis the Lizard.
That's
what
right.
it was.
It was a lizard.
It was
Right
a
against the
lizard
wall.
at Daytona.
Yeah.
We're turning into the Animal Planet Network. Oh, God. Well, let's see. At 30 seconds a lap. Yeah. Well, at 30 seconds a lap, we've got 50 laps to go. So that's 10:25.
Yeah, you can talk to people for that long.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
That's why it's been said.
We can have our audio man up here play a riff with the band. Steve Miller Band will be here, isn't it?
Joe Biage and his rubber band. Here comes Casey. Somebody's turned Casey's wristwatch up too. You see it? Martha, you eat all the time. You're gonna.
Welcome back, everybody. We are live. TNN Motorsports at Gateway International Raceway outside of St. Louis, Missouri. We're in Madison, Illinois. Final 49 laps of the NASCAR Busch Series. Carquest Auto Parts 250. Here's Joe Nemechek leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. And don't forget, as we move aside when this one is done, we taped a race for you here last night. The USAC Silver Crown cars, the Coors Light Silver Bullet Series, as it's now known, and that'll be coming your way following this race. So we're just getting going here on Saturday night at the races. Larry Mack.
I talked to Tony Uri Jr. about Dale Earnhardt's car, and Buddy, you was talking during the break about he looked like he was pushing up. As I said, they made no adjustments to that car on the last stop, just 4 tires and fuel. But this is what will make you pull your hair out as a crew chief. Just a little variance from one set of tires to another. It's something that we really don't understand, but he definitely said the car won't turn as good now. And the bad news is, no matter what, this is his last set of tires.
But I have noticed one thing, Larry Mack. He has changed his driving style now. He's taking a different approach into the corner, and he's able to hold it right on the white line, and he's closing in on Nemechek as we speak.
Well, I think that's what's going to make him a great race car driver, Buddy, rather than staying out there saying, guys, it's pushing. He's searched around. It looks like to me he may have found a line that the car likes a little bit better right now, and that's a sign of a great race car driver.
By the way, Larry McReynolds, how did your test go at Indianapolis last week? Heading to the Brickyard next weekend.
Well, it went real well, you know. We struggled the first day, but really hit on something the second day. Mike Skinner, he always likes it there, and we're looking forward to it. And, guys, I think we just had a lead change, too.
Indeed, we did, going into the corner. But can he hang on to it? Can Nemechek get back inside of Dale Earnhardt Jr.? We've seen his daddy do that move a few times.
Joe Nemechek had to cross his car up or make contact with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He gave him a great break right there because Earnhardt moved up in the center part of the corner and then pulled back down, and they almost had contact there. while they were racing each other, Casey Atwood moved into third place right up against Nemechek.
Getting down to it here at Gateway International.
You can see the first 3 cars there on the outside of the lap car right now, nose to tail as they're going around here.
They move past Mark Green in the Dr. Pepper car. Old Randy LaJoy very quietly climbing up to 4th now and closing in on the leaders. Glenn?
Yeah, he is, Eli. I tell you, he's come from a long way back, too. They had to requalify this morning in second round. They had a problem yesterday in the first round of qualifying. But as the guys were racing for the lead there, as Nemechek and Earnhardt keep swapping back and forth, I'm still down at Casey Atwood and Jeff Green down at the lower end of pit road. And these guys are all cheering for that race, and I'm like, well, what are they cheering about? But they're glad to see those guys dicing for the lead because that allows their cars to close right up on the rear bumper. You can see Casey right there, just right on the rear deck lid of Joe Nemechek. So Kip McCord said Casey hadn't really said anything about the car, so he must like it okay. They're just going to wait and see how this thing plays out. But the more they race for the lead, the better chance they've got.
Yeah, they got another problem. Randy LaJoy right now, we're looking on the computer screen up here. He is the quickest car on the racetrack, the #1 car there. You see him 4th right now. He's moved in on these guys. He's closed down about 15 car lengths in the past 5 laps.
Randy LaJoy's last lap, 129.9 miles an hour. That white machine up front there, the 34 Mike McLaughlin, dealing with the 66 of Todd Bodine and the 13 of Ted Christopher.
Turn 2 behind you.
Trouble, Mike Dillon. You heard the spotter say the problem is behind you.
Caution flag.
And the caution is out, lap 158. And the leader is Dale Earnhardt Jr. ahead of Nemechek, Atwood, and Randy LaJoy. Mike Dillon able to continue on, but that spin puts us under caution for the 5th time here tonight. When we come back, we'll talk strategy as caution is on the speedway at Gateway International Raceway. Does anybody give up track position? Maybe Herman the German.
Yeah.
For 2 left sides?
He needs some tires, yeah.
I mean, Herman's...
I went to ask if what the deal was, and I could tell it wasn't a good time to ask.
No, no.
Oh, boy. And that...
Here comes a modified. Adam Petty is back in the race.
Super mod.
All right, so
guys, I'm trying to find out the scoop on LaJoy. I'm
23.
just about down there.
I'll tell you what, he's coming on. But he's good on this type of racetrack, too.
The same car he had at Milwaukee when he was so good and had the tire problem.
Yeah.
Silhouettes on the
It's the same car he's run the last 3 races.
Exactly,
guys.
exactly. All the flat tracks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Herman's in for 2 lefts.
There's an upset.
2 rights.
2 rights.
Yeah, he did pit. He drove by me. I don't know where he's headed down there to do something.
Yeah, 2 rights.
He is getting 2 rights. See, I thought he would have been out of tires.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't want to point fingers. It looked like Wallace might have got him. As a
Either
matter
him
of fact.
or that guy.
Yeah. Trick.
All right, Dillon is in, and he is out of tires. They're putting tires on, so they're gonna penalize him.
Big Duga.
Who is Big Duga?
Right there.
Oh.
Big Duga.
All right, only on the East Coast.
I want some baby
Those
back,
of you on the
baby
West
back.
Coast will be seeing at home with...
I want some baby back ribs.
We continue under caution here at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Mike Dillon spun up there in turn number 2, brought out the caution. Great crowd on hand, some 70,000 folks here at Gateway International. And don't forget, those of you on the East Coast, as soon as this race takes the checkered flag and we wrap up in Victory Lane and so on, we have got taped coverage for you of last night's USAC race here, the Coors Light Silver Bullet Series. And it really was a special, special race. You talk about guys swapping up the lead. We won't tell you all that went on, but it's worth your time. The USAC Shop and Save 100 for those of you on the East Coast, coming up as soon as we move aside here at Gateway International.
Yeah.
Everybody getting set to go back to green. Let's check in with Larry McReynolds.
I talked down to Mark Reno, crew chief for Randy LaJoy. This is the same car they've run the last 3 races. This is the 4th race in a row. Started 27th. Randy told me before the race, he said, Larry, the car is good. I just can't get going on 1 lap of qualifying. So started deep in the field, but he's doing the same thing he's done with that car, all the flat tracks. He definitely wanted this caution, so he's in position. Glenn?
Well, I'm in Mike Dillon's pitch. You know, he spun and caused that caution there, and of course they flat spotted the tires and he came in, but the tire, and they changed tires, and the tire rule was, and still is, you only got 3 sets under caution. They put tires on the car, they put 4 tires on it. The penalty for that is 1 lap per tire. They are holding him for 4 laps. Expensive, very expensive pit stop.
Now Kenny Wallace being released from the pit lane. Meanwhile, word we're getting from the pit road is that Jeff Purvis has transmission problems, 4th gear only, back in 25th position, as you see Kenny Wallace being held at the head end of pit road. 4th gear only for a Jeff Purvis. What does that mean on a restart, buddy?
Well, he better hope that he has like a Jericho transmission, where once you get it going, you can jerk it into gear. You don't have to use the clutch because it don't have a throwout bearing, so it's okay. You can, once you get it rolling, but in and out of the pits is a real problem, getting, say, stopped and then trying to get it back in gear and go.
Saw that penalty being assessed to Mike Dillon. There you see Jeff Purvis. He'll stay on the lead lap in 25th. He's the last driver on the lead lap, and he has voluntarily dropped back. He didn't want to be in the midst of everybody there in case he couldn't come up to speed. He's going to drop back a little bit and try and get a running start.
Exactly. He'll try to pick the throttle up and catch them as they take off there, rather than being up in the way as they take off.
Go.
Getting near the finish. 163 of 200. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues as the race leader, took the top spot at 154. That yellow car in the mix there, Hank Parker Jr., still a lap down in 26th. That's 1st and 2nd. Earnhardt Jr., Joe Nemechek. They're still holding Mike Dillon. Now that final lap expires and he gets the green flag to proceed. That'll drop Dillon back 4 laps down into 32nd position as Hank Parker Jr. goes way wide.
Yeah, he lost control of the car there, slid up, but I know Casey Atwood was glad of it.
Caution! Oh, major problems. Kevin Grubb heading towards the wall. Terry Labonte spins. A host of other cars involved. This is out of turn 2. Shane Hall in the 43. Ted Christopher. Earnhardt Jr. does take the caution. Kenny Wallace, you see, tried to get a lap back, could not. That's Kevin Grubb. You see him moving around. Dick Trickle has a lot of problems there in the Schneider trucking car. Well, when it happens in a hurry.
Ted's got a lot of damage to the back of the car, but it does not look like the running gear part of the car is hurt that badly.
All of this at lap 164. There you see Kevin Grubb climbing from the car. Ted Christopher had a super run going. He was in 11th, but he got caught up in that deal. Let's take a look at exactly what happened. Oh, We saw Grubb and Christopher go right past our camera. There's another view. Look at Santerre go to the grass.
Yeah, right on the bottom there.
Let's see what happens here. Well, it's already going there.
Santerre in the grass. He was real lucky he didn't spin back up in harm's way there.
Well, let's take one more view again from our speed shot camera coming off the corner. Saw Trickle get a piece of Christopher, and we are under caution for the 6th time tonight. Because they were counting us to commercial. Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
What I think happened, hang on a second. Let me get to the back of Dylan's car here. What they told me happened was that when he was coming up to speed.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running.
Damage from Trickle came from.
Oh, okay.
That's what Dylan.
TNN Motorsports.
We could double check.
We couldn't see.
I tell you, that wall shot on the wreck does not really show us anything except something coming at you.
Christopher, I looked at his car standing here in his pits, mainly just the right front fender caved in. I mean, a lot of other sheet metal damage, but that was the only thing that was a big problem, but he just didn't beat the pace truck back out.
Yeah. Terry Labonte spun over there.
Yeah, I
also.
passed by him. He laughed at me because of how sweaty I am.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I walked back down there and confirmed that, but I just passed him in the pits.
All right, listen up, guys.
Yeah.
The PR guy from Kingsford just came and apologized to me. He said that's not what happened. He said the reason that Dylan spun in the first place was Trickle got him back.
Hey, Pete.
Okay.
So
do you want me to find out about Terry Labonte if he's even been in the car?
They told me.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Terry Labonte?
I thought Justin was in.
No, Terry got in on lap 5.
If he did, he's back out because I just passed him in the pits, but I'm going to find out.
Christ, the guys in the pits, or somebody told us that Terry got in the car.
Well, Bob told me in the garage area he was going to stay in all night.
Justin was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just passed.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series from Gateway International Raceway is being brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, we keep America running. Ted Christopher's crew working on his machine. After running as high as 11th, he's back in 26th now, a lap down. He was involved. Right there, you see him going around in the 13.
See Justin Labonte there in the 44 also spinning up on the high side of the racetrack. Right in there.
Yeah, the track just narrows up on you when everybody's doing those 360s. Andy Santerre, though, the 47 car, did a great piece of driving, taken to the grass. Here you see Butch Miller going by. Adam Petty has returned, by the way. As you look at Ted Christopher, Adam is, you saw him going by in that accident. He's 23 laps down, but they have gotten the Spree car back out there. And he continues now as we close in on the finish, 167 of 200 on the board. There is your race leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., took over the top spot most recently at lap 154. We're back in a moment. All right. Yeah. Dave, you told me that Terry Labonte got in that car way back early. Who told you that?
I told Pete when he came in, he asked me, and I said, I don't know, I'm not down there. It looked like it might be Terry, but I never said for certain it was.
Shit.
Hang on, I'm almost here.
It doesn't matter now. We've had the wrong goddamn guy in the car all night.
All right, Terry Labonte says he has not been in that race car.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said he ain't getting in it either. He was pretty adamant about that. I knew I passed him a while ago because he poked all kinds of fun at me.
We got to be more careful about that stuff, fellas.
I wish Hank Parker would get that lap back.
We are getting set to go back to green. Lap 168 complete of the 200. We're working caution number 6 of the evening. There you see Kenny Wallace, Tony Roper in the 61, the 11. Jason Jarrett, haven't talked much about him. He's a lap down in 25th, getting some valuable laps on his resume here tonight.
He has that, and that's all he wanted. I talked to him. He was thrilled that he made the race. He's done a nice job of staying out of harm's way tonight. Jason getting a lot of experience to use later on in his racing career.
Coming to the start with Mike McLaughlin in 9th place.
Go, green, green, green.
Earnhardt Jr. and Nemechek breaking away from the lap traffic that time. They'll put Hank Parker Jr. there as the buffer car.
And Casey Atwood really needs to make a move right now. He finally got by Hank Parker Jr. He's the 3rd car you see there, and just behind him, Randy LaJoie in the 1 car.
Nobody getting out of line yet. Those front 4 just trying to put some distance on the rest of the field if they can. Jason Keller, who's running in 5th, is a 1.5 seconds further behind.
Well, Eli, there's no strategy now. It's just the guys that have great cars, good handling cars, and Randy LaJoie was the quickest, the 4th place car that you see coming through the corner right at this moment, was the quickest just before the caution. So as the tires get hotter, we'll see if he still has that edge.
We have had 17 lead changes already tonight. They had 13 here a year ago. Been an action-packed evening as far as them swapping up the lead. Jeff Green going through your picture there. He's running in 7th. Mike McLaughlin now back in 9th. There goes Green in the 32, along with Blaney.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 there, and just behind him, Mike McLaughlin in the 34, and then Todd Bodine, 66.
Stay after it, Mikey. Stay after it.
It's always interesting to hear the spotters saying, this is a stay after it, stay after it. Well, the guy's not going to back down. I mean,
well, you can, just about all the guys do that. I used to remember guys would say, okay, we brought you this far, don't lay down on us now. It's time to pick it up and go your best right now. Get on top of that steering wheel and don't let us down.
Did you like a lot of talking as you see the 2nd place battle there, Nemechek and Atwood? Did you like a lot of radio chatter, or did you want them to keep quiet?
It's kind of like a pep rally. If you're not running real well and they get on you like that, sometimes it's like somebody hitting you almost. You go, wait a minute. They did bring me this far, and I got to turn it up a notch.
There's Joe Nemechek heading off towards turn number 3. Let's see some of these numbers now and compare them to earlier.
153 I saw there, right at 8,000 down the back straightaway. See, they drop off a lot of RPM in the corner here. You scrub off a lot of speed. Now down the straightaway, he's up to 7,400, 150, 53, 57. 160 miles an hour just before he backed off there.
And just tickled 8,000 RPMs there for a second.
Randy LaJoie looking on the inside of Casey Atwood down the back straightaway.
And Randy LaJoie gets him going into the corner. 3rd place now for Randy LaJoy.
And Jason Keller there in the 57 now has picked it up a notch or two. He's moved in here.
Tell you, that whole Progressive Motorsports team, Keller and Jeff Green, what a season they've had.
Oh, they've had a great season. Both of them have won this year, and quite frankly, a couple of breaks here and there, and they would have dominated this series.
25 laps to go. Larry Mack and Little E hang on there.
Well, they're pretty optimistic down here. I talked to Tony Urey Jr., and with his car being pushy or tight, the best place for it is out front, because when he's following somebody, it don't have downforce on the front end, so they definitely want to keep that car out front. You're looking at him right there. He's definitely running around the bottom of the racetrack, buddy, and that's a sign that that car is going to be pretty tough for these last 25 laps.
Yeah, he seems to be doing it his own way, but so is the one car there, Randy LaJoy, right on the bottom. As a matter of fact, across the rumble strips as he works on Joe Nemechek and go down the back straightaway.
Listening to Nemechek's radio, this is for second. Now he's got to make up a second. That is what LaJoy trails Dale Earnhardt Jr. by.
The one thing he has right now is clear air in front of him, and no cars to really mess up the aerodynamics on the race car. He'll get good downforce getting in the corner. As he gets closer to Earnhardt, then he picks up what we call an aero push. So right now we'll see if he has the power to catch up to Earnhardt Jr. I don't know. It looks like Earnhardt Jr. is just doing anything he wants to at the moment.
That 9/10 of a second is now lengthened to 1.1 seconds. So last time by, LaJoy losing some ground. That's the spread right there.
You know, you just look at this line, though. There's people coming into action right now just behind this group. Jeff Green's moving in. Matt Kenseth's right behind him. We have a bunch of cars here that are very good race cars. It may be a factor if we end up, you know, we only have 22 laps to go, but you can see the makings of a good race here for the end.
Got a dandy shaping up right now as we near the finish here at Gateway International Raceway. Running with third place Joe Nemechek, Casey Atwood right behind him in fourth. In the garage, Kevin Grubb, Curtis Markham, Joe Bessie, Buckshot Jones, Jeffrey Bodine, Brad Loney, and Tim Fedua. Those are the drivers whose evening has ended early. Adam Petty, 23 laps down. He's back out there running. 49 laps down is Jeff Fuller, but he's out there running. And Phil Parsons is 35 laps down, but the Alltel car is still out there running.
20 to go.
But for some, it's been that kind of a night. We're back in a moment.
The biggest thing that I see right now is Randy LaJoy is cutting in.
A little bit.
Just he's closing in just a bit. The big race is behind there. Sawyer, Schrader. He's catching him some, don't you think?
Yeah, not according to the computer, it's not. Let's see what it is at the line.
Visually, it shows it.
It was 1.1 at the line. Now it's, 0.9. He picked up a couple tenths.
He called him the old man, by the way. Can you imagine calling somebody in their 30s an old man? I can't.
That's the differential, 9/10 of a second. With 17 laps to go, does Randy LaJoie have enough time to get there and then pass Junior?
Well, Eli, it looks like right now he's closing in. It was seconds. Now it's down to car lengths. As you see right there, about 10 car lengths back for Randy LaJoie. He's got a perfect line around the racetrack. Earnhardt may be saving a little bit. When he closes in a little bit closer, he may stand on the gas a little more. But right now, Randy LaJoie is closing in.
Let's go to pit road.
Well, Eli, buddy, I talked to Mark Reno, who normally is up top spotting, but he's in the pits running the pits here tonight for Randy LaJoie. And what Mark said, he said, we're good right now, but I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. is just as good. I just don't know in 15 or 16 laps if we can catch him, you know. But he said Randy's not saying anything. He's not saying anything to Randy. They're trying hard not to break his concentration. But you know what, guys? Catching Dale Earnhardt Jr. may be one thing. Passing, I'm sure, will be another.
I think so. And Casey Atwood having a tough lap here.
Yes, he is. He's falling off the pace quite a bit. I don't know what's happened to the car. It's almost like he's dropped the cylinder because he is off the pace a little bit and the cars are getting by him and he's losing valuable spots as we come near the end of the race.
Atwood running now at a pace that is a bit slower by about 1.5 miles an hour than the last time by. He's fallen back to 6th. It's just a half second, though, from Earnhardt Jr. back to LaJoie. There you see the differential. Randy won the season opener at Daytona back on the 13th of February, part of Speed Weeks.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. He's gobbling him up.
Yes, he
He's
is
down
now.
to about 3 or 4 car lengths now.
This is for the lead.
Make it a car length as they go through turns 1 right there. Randy LaJoie in the 1 is handling perfect around here. If Earnhardt's got anything, he better start using it.
If you like to play the numbers game, Randy LaJoie started 27th. Last 2 races on the circuit were won by guys who started back in the field. Myrtle Beach races won from a 29th starting spot. Pikes Peak last week, Andy Santerre started 20th. And at this track, the 2 races that have been held here, with Elliott Sadler winning and Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning. Elliott was 12th and Earnhardt Jr. 13th when they started those races. So you don't always have to start up front.
We don't have to look at the computer anymore to see the distance between the 2. It's down to a couple of car lengths now. Randy LaJoie visibly quicker right in the middle part of the corner there. He closes up.
That is for 9th place. Mike McLaughlin in the 34. Todd Bodine in the 66. That's for 9th. Next time the leaders come by, it'll be 10 laps to go. .22 teams still on the lead lap.
10 to go now, 10 to go.
Ed Berrier back in 22nd, last car in the lead lap. There you see Atwood and Kenseth, 6th and 7th.
Atwood don't look, it wasn't a cylinder he dropped. I don't know what happened because he's back up to full song now. Matt Kenseth hanging on right now with a little bit of body damage, trying to take that spot away from Atwood. But you can see he's certainly not giving up anything down the straightaway to anyone. You know, I saw his hand out the window like he may be just a little bit hot in that race car, and he's trying to get some air inside the car there.
I don't know why. It's only 95 degrees at 10:30 at night. Been that kind of weekend here. Yeah, that's the lead right there.
Yeah, but when you see a driver put his hand out the window
to redirect
like that,
the air.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
There's Green and his teammate Jason Keller. That's 4th place, swapping hands right there. Jeff Green grabs it from Jason Keller. Matt Kenseth battling with Casey Atwood. That's 6th and 7th.
Well, if he is running hot in the race car, Matt Kenseth right now is not giving him any breathing room at all. He's underneath him there, making him run the high side of the racetrack, trying to get by.
Inside, still there. There you go, good job. Keep coming. Clear all around, good job.
Listening to Atwood's radio. 8 laps, about 4 minutes of racing remaining. Casey's, if he's hot, he's going to gut it out, that's for sure.
Well, that's when you test a driver, when he gets back up on that steering wheel, if he's burning up in that car.
Up front, well, it's kind of stabilized right now.
What Larry Mack say, catching him and passing him, that's 2 different things. Right now, they're holding about, if anything, Earnhardt has pulled about a car length on him.
You know, it's interesting, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished second at Charlotte, he started 22nd. And tonight, his second worst start of the year, started 18th, and here he is leading. Tony Eury Sr.
Boy, he watched Dale Earnhardt win 21 times in this Busch Grand National Division. Now he's watching the kid here do it his own way. He's won 10 times himself.
Around Butch Miller. Took the lead at lap 154 most recently. Didn't lead for the first time until lap 86 for Dale Earnhardt. Larry Mack, I don't know if LaJoie's got anything left with 5 to go.
I don't either, Eli. I talked to Mark Reno, and he said he's still not saying anything, but you'll remember this phrase. I'm not so sure that Randy LaJoie run him down, and I believe he got the goodie out of the tires. I believe those tires are gone.
Larry explained what the goodie in the tires meant when he joined us on the telecast at Myrtle Beach. Around Justin Labonte in the Slim Jim Chevrolet. Justin behind the wheel of that car.
Just pulled over and let the race leaders go by. 5 laps to go. It'll be 4 when they come by.
Got a little traffic ahead. Ted Christopher and Glenn Allen Jr. just off of turn number 2, about 100 yards ahead of the lead duo.
I just watched Randy LaJoie's car. It got a little bit of push coming out of the turn 1 just then. He went in and it started pushing up in the center part of the corner. He had a tough time getting off. These guys are still going at it, Eli.
Matt Kenseth running in 7. Casey Atwood 6th, then they swap it around.
You're clear.
Adam Petty's not going to finish. He has taken his car to the garage area. 34th is all he can advance. He's not going to be able to make up any more laps with this few remaining, so Adam Petty parks at 34th place. Will be where his night ends.
One lap, you'll see the 1 car there. Randy LaJoie close in to maybe 1-2 car lengths. Then Earnhardt will pull back an advantage again. 1 slip, though, on Earnhardt's part. If he ever got tied up with him, I don't know who would win. Randy LaJoie is one tenacious driver.
Around Ted Christopher, who gives them all the room they need. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to repeat here at Gateway International. He won a year ago. Elliott Sadler won the inaugural a couple of years back. Matt Abernathy has the white flag in hand. 1 more lap around Gateway.
Boy, the crowd's going crazy, too. They really like Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this part of the country, and they're waving and pulling for him as he goes down through there, and they also like Randy LaJoie. I didn't mean to imply they don't.
It'll be Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 11th Busch Series win in his 61st start. He'll also pick up 5 more bonus points for leading the most laps. Very valuable atop the battle for the Busch Series point standings. 4th win of the year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to victory lane here at Gateway International. Randy LaJoie finishes 2nd. Nemechek, Green, Keller, Kenseth. That's how they come across the stripe. Glenn Jarrett.
And I got Tony Eury here. If I can stay away from the high fives, they're congratulating each other. Tony, you had to come from a long way back from 18th, but another solid performance by the young man.
Yeah, his crew chief put him in a bad spot there at Wildline. He had a little wrong gear choice, and
got a little loose on the end down here and bogged her down. That killed it qualifying. So had a bad run there. Ron Hutter had a great night up there. 1-2 and looks like about 7 or 8 there. Great motors. He's doing a heck of a job for us. We had to twist her hard here at this old place. About like Pocono. You got 2 different straightaways. You have to turn them real hard on one side, and they live. So congratulations to Ron Hutter again and the AC Delco crew, Burger King, Snap-on, Nabisco, all these people. We're having fun.
I think he's got them all. He's getting this down pat, guys. He's learning how to do this.
Well, he's done it enough, certainly. As we say, the 11th Busch Series win in 61 starts for Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Eury in the bunch. When we come back, Victory Lane. We're returning in a moment.
Yeah. Look at that. He's patting the roof of that car. Loves it.
Either that or he's loose.
You know, that's a car, though, that he hated.
Yeah.
Remember that. And they redone it. No drop snouts, no fancy this. Just went back to basics. I'm going to enjoy my ride back with you tonight, Mr. Yep. Uh-oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's all right, I learned.
Yep. Well, you know, I talked to Bob before the race. Oh, pardon me. I didn't mean. I know you got stuff you got to set up. I'm sorry. I think I'll keep this stuff.
Much of it is outdated by the next week. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Put out a new one every week.
To the dump. Wood did drop back. I'm sure I saw his hand now. Didn't you?
You did, yeah.
What are you going to do?
There is the 6th driver in NASCAR Busch Series history to win over $2 million. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in Victory Lane here at Gateway. Glenn?
And he jumps down from the top of the car there. Did some serious damage there, buddy. You like this place, man. You must love this place. You've won 2 in a row here. You came from deep in the field to do it again tonight. You kind of drove away from him, except right there at the end. Randy put a little pressure on you.
Yeah, Randy did, man. I tell you, he was coming. And just had good faith in my car and its ability to hang tough. And I sure drove it hard there a couple of times and used the tires up. But she was there at the end. So I want to say hey to Dad, my mom, everybody back home. We're really excited to be back in Victory Lane.
Well, I know you are, and the fans here, Dale, are excited for you, too. The St. Louis area here, your sponsors coming from this area next year. Could you see the reaction of the crowd when you came down the front straight away?
I know that, this is Budweiser territory, and we're all excited about next year, and all the race fans have supported us, especially in the St. Louis area. I guess I might have to call this place my second home. So, but we're happy for AC Delco and the support they give us this year, and we want to win that championship, and that's what we're working our hardest on.
Was after the problems you had last week, did you tell yourself going into tonight's race that, hey, we're not going to let anything like that happen tonight?
I was almost going to be a little conservative or too conservative, and I was afraid of that. I was afraid of just riding around, and I don't want to be like that. You know, I want to race hard, but I race smart, so it got us to Victory Lane, and I just got to remember to do it every week, I guess.
Was it hard to do that with the pressure that LaJoie was putting on you right there at the end? Yeah,
especially Randy, man. He's like one of the toughest competitors we have in the Busch Series, and he's hard to beat even when he's behind you. He's hard to pass when he's out front, so I knew he was coming, and I didn't know whether we had the stuff to hold him off, but I seen his car kind of going away there at the end, and I just tried to stay consistent and smooth, and it pays off.
It certainly did pay off. Another win for Dale Earnhardt Jr. We're going to let him celebrate. Go to Larry McReynolds.
Glenn, I got the second and the third place driver here, Randall DeJoy. Pretty hot out there tonight, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad. The hottest this Chevrolet Monte Carlo's run in a while. Last month, this Bob Evans Monte Carlo's run very well. Our goal is to get back in the top 5 in points. We also want to win Charlotte. We're getting our performances up. Some lucky fan is going to win $1 million when Bob Evans on a sweepstakes, win a car and $1 million if we can win Charlotte. The last month, this car has been really running well. I got a hats off to the Phoenix Racing crew, and you know, we run good. We're second best today, and I think if I could have caught Lily, I could have played pool with him like last week, but he had a good car, and anytime you can be in the same zip code as that 3 car, you're doing pretty good.
You made a run at him there. In fact, you chopped about a second off in just a few laps, but I think I may have made the call on what went on there.
Yeah, I used the right front up pretty hard, and I was hoping he would slip up because I could have got in front of him. I don't think he could have got by me either. So, hey, it's a good day for this Bob Evans Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and we're going to take this piece to Indy and wear him out.
I kind of figured he would. All right, I'm going to walk over here. Joe Nemechek finished third, Joe. You were strong in the middle part of the race. Just a couple of guys was a little stronger at the end.
Yeah, they had their setup match there a little bit better towards the end. Tell you what, our Bell South Mobility and Kia Chevy was strong. It seemed like earlier on, the longer we run, the better that thing was. It just like never slowed down, and it seemed like the last set of tires there didn't quite match our setup, whether it cooled down a little bit, but just seemed like we lost overall grip. And how about my pit stop guys? Come in, went out leading every time. Pretty awesome.
Oh, I talked about them, and they did. I mentioned, you know, they're part of the Winston Cup crew over there for Sabco, but those 2 days of testing definitely paid off. When will we see you back run another Busch race?
I think our next race is going to be Darlington and then Charlotte. Just got to thank everybody, special Carl Wagner, the motor guy. They had a special combination for here. We tested. Thing ran really good. If we would have been just a little bit better, we would have had something for them.
Well, that's the story from the second and the third place finisher. Back up to Eli and Buddy.
All right, Larry Mack, thanks a lot as we take a look now at the full field rundown so you'll know exactly where your favorite driver came home. Yeah, that Green and Keller bunch, I'll tell you, talk about consistency, buddy.
Yeah, great team. And Jeff Green, you know, he had a bad pit stop, fought his way back up to 4th. Jason Keller consistently in the top 5.
Further back, didn't talk much about Elton Sawyer tonight at all, but a very solid 13th up from a 31st place start. Bobby Hamilton Jr. couldn't stay on the lead lap, dropped a couple of laps early, but he's a good kid. He's going to learn, and Ted Christopher deserved better. And there you see the fellows who were involved in accidents or had mechanical failure and found themselves in the garage. Tim Fitowa, the first retiree, comes home a disappointing 43rd. Glenn, again, that Jeff Green, Jason Keller combo, just awfully stout.
I have to agree with you, Eli. I think right now, as far as the team concept goes, that this team has the 2 best, the 2 most consistent drivers in the series. Jason Keller, a good run. I know you hated to lose a few positions there at the end. You lost one of your teammates, but I know you're disappointed from Myrtle Beach, but you guys still, you run up front every week.
Well, that's the main thing, you know. I hope Myrtle Beach isn't our last chance to win a race, you know. Had a lot of people from Fleming Team IGA here today, so what better way to, you know, get a good night than finish top 5. And we were just a little bit off, and both cars were, but, you know, to be a little bit off and still finish 4th and 5th, couldn't ask for a better teammate, couldn't ask for a better team. And Steve Arrington made some really good calls, and I'm ready to get back to South Carolina. Deb, I love you. I'll see you tonight. Okay, we're going to step next door here and talk to your teammate, Jeff Green. He's standing over here next to his car. Of course, Jeff came home in 4th position. Getting congratulations from the Bob Evans bunch there. And Jeff, just talking to Jason about the consistency that both these teams have right now. You have just been a model of consistency. The lap times, everything you do, maybe just a little bit off tonight, but still a pretty good run.
It was a good run for the Clinic Chevrolet. This started out pretty good. Glenn never could get it just exactly right, and I think the 3 and the 1 was exactly right. Got behind on a pit stop, had a problem on the front, and close as this field is, it's hard to make these spots up, and just got lucky there at the end and got around a couple guys, got back in the top 5 where we belong. Another good night for us. Hated we lost a little points to Junior, but we gained on Kenseth, and if we can just keep doing this every weekend in the top 5, I think we'll have something at the end of the year for them. Well, Jeff, I know you talked about that problem you had, and the first thing I saw was Harold Holly, your crew chief, jump down and talk to the guy that had the problem and console him, like say, hey, man, it's okay. We're going to need you next time. And I think that that's the spirit of this whole team. There's no finger pointing. There's no blaming anybody. You all pull together in good or bad. They've had some awesome ones over the past, and they're going to have every once in a while you're going to have a boo-boo, and everybody's human. I'm going to boo-boo every once in a while, but for the most part, I got an awesome team, having the best career year of my life. So I'm having a ball of a time.
Well, he is. He's having a great time. He's doing a good job. The whole team is. I'll tell you what, guys, don't count them out for the championship. They're consistent.
And NASCAR's points always reward consistency. 10 top 10 finishes in the last 11 races. Yeah, little Dale did all right tonight. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s got a big fan. We're coming right back.
I like Little Dale better than Little E.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. When you're 40 years old, you don't want to be little anything.
Yeah.
He'll have his own name, believe me. Oh, he'll always be a junior now.
Yeah. Gotta be, but
I will say one thing. He might be the most talented young driver that I've ever watched. Oh, wouldn't he? Oh, man. Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? Talking about Robert G., how proud he'd be.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh. He's giving him a bath there. Too bad they didn't take it.
Yeah.
We love you.
Well, the victory celebration continuing here at Gateway International Raceway, Madison, Illinois, outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Dale Earnhardt Jr. picking up the victory. Randy LaJoie second. Joe Nemechek coming home third. Solid finish for all of those guys. You're going to look at the top 10. Dave Blaney, another very, very strong race. Had a good run here previously. And there you see Todd Bodine wrapping up the top 10. Now, what does it all mean as far as the NASCAR Busch Series point standings are concerned? Because remember, we showed you throughout the course of the evening how fluid the point standings were. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back on top by 11 markers on Matt Kenseth. Jeff Green is drawing a little closer, picked up a few points right there, as he had talked about closing in just a little bit. Three-driver battle right now, Larry Mack, and Matt Kenseth still very much in the hunt.
Well, Eli, I'm standing here with Matt Kenseth, and we was a little bit of debate about whether we had time to do this interview, but we both decided we're on the same airplane going home with Dale Earnhardt Jr., so we're probably going to be here for a while. But, Matt, I know not the night you really wanted, but your guys really battled to come back and finish sixth.
Yeah, the DeWalt guys won the race, really. I mean, man, they gained me 5-6 spots every time we came down pit road and did a good job fixing the car. But come from the back like we did, we got up to the top 10, but after that I just couldn't do anything with them. We were really, really loose all day. Never really figured out anything to tighten it up. Made some big changes, but never could really help the car. So that's just as good as we could get tonight.
When are you going to run another Winston Cup race? I know you hadn't talked a lot about it, but when will it be, this next Winston Cup race?
Well, we're going to Michigan the Monday and Tuesday after Indy to go test for 2 days with our new DeWalt Fords, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Michigan's going to be our first Winston Cup race with our new team, so pretty excited about that. But on the other hand, we need to get the Busch car running a little better too.
I know it's still early. Went 11 points down to Junior tonight. No change in the game plan, I take.
Well, at the beginning of the year, we were super fast, but real inconsistent. We'd either run in the top 3 or we ended up in the 30s somewhere. And now we're really consistent, but we're not fast enough to run with them. So we need to do our homework a little bit more, maybe go test a couple of places and try to get back up front and challenge to win a couple of these things.
Well, guys, that's the story from the sixth-place finisher and the man that's chasing Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this championship.
The pride of Cambridge, Wisconsin, Matt Kenseth. I'll tell you something, never a question as to where NASCAR's growth is coming from between this series and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ron Hornaday stepping up here and so on and so forth. A lot of very, very strong young talent.
Yeah, and then you look over in the Craftsman Series, even in the truck division, there's a lot of young talent over there that are looking towards Busch Grand National as the next step. So, you know, I would say all the divisions are very, very strong right now.
Don't forget, folks, we're coming back. We've got some more for you here at Gateway. And then when we move aside, for those of you on the East Coast, we've got the USAC Coors Light Silver Bullet Series race that we taped for you last night. So lots more coming up on Saturday night at the races. What is that? Yeah. All right.
No, he's going to say he wasn't hot, but I can tell you it's burning. He wasn't motioning anybody by, I don't think.
Hello.
No.
Hello. Hey, no, you were right the first time, buddy. You had a problem with the engine.
Huh?
I said you were right the first time. He had an engine miss.
Oh, okay. He got back going pretty good there.
10-4. How much time back?
He's gone. You know, when one starts skipping, you notice the heat because you're not in the battle anymore, too.
That's true, too. Remember July 4th at Milwaukee? Coming through, says Casey Atwood, roots his way around Jeff Green, becoming the youngest winner in NASCAR Busch Grand National Series history. And Casey Atwood still having some awfully strong runs. Was 9th at Pikes Peak a weekend ago. Had himself a good run here tonight, too, Glenn.
Yeah, he did, Eli. In fact, it was a lot stronger early on than what it finished up. Casey, we were talking about the fact early in the show that this is the same car you won at Milwaukee with. You like this race car. It likes flat racetracks, but tonight you had a little problem at the end. What happened?
Yeah, we were strong all night, you know, and that's what we got to do. We just got to, you know, this is our second top 10, and we've been real strong since Milwaukee. We just, we had a great car. We just picked up a miss there with 20 laps to go in the motor and fell back a little bit, but we stayed in the top 10, and if we keep getting these consistent finishes, and then hopefully we're going to get a few wins. The Castro team done a great job, worked really hard, and they know we was there tonight, and hopefully we're going to get a few more 4 years over.
Well, I think they know you're there every week. I got to ask you a question about that race car since you like it so much. You running it next week at IRP?
Absolutely.
Here's Larry McGrone.
Well, Glenn, I'm with Dave Blaney. Dave, 8th place finish, not a bad night, but you told me you had some other weird things kind of going with you.
Oh, yeah, it was a long 200 laps, it seemed like. It was hot, and a little air conditioning hose fell off, and it took me a little while to realize it and get it back on. But man, it was a pretty good night until the last 50. We kind of fell apart. I think I got a little bit worse, and a bunch of them got a little bit better, and we just backed up. I thought we could be in the race for it for quite a while, but just fell apart a little bit.
Well, guys, that's the story from Dave Blaney, who we will see, as we all know, full-time on the Winston Cup circuit next year.
He's a talented one, the 1995 Pennzoil World of Outlaws Series champion, one of the very best going. Again, there's the top 10 finishing order. Hey, we've got more racing coming up. How about the Soapbox Derby? I kid you not. We go to Akron next.